What's up, guys? Welcome to another exciting rendition of the Break Room Podcast. All the party people, make your way down to the comment section. You got little Jacob over here. He's the real Jacob, not little Jacob, sorry. Where I got little Jacob from. It's like Grand Theft Auto or something.
It's like Little Richard.
From the Dungeon Podcast. Give it up for From the Dungeon.
Yeah, there you go. There it is.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the show. We are thrilled to have you back. We're going to be talking about a number of things today. I'm going to start right at the beginning of the show. I'm going to bring this up a couple of times as people drop in and out. We're going to be giving away a free audio book. All right? We'll explain the rules in a moment. Well, actually, so apparently the real Jacob said he's 5'5", so he doesn't mind being little Jacob. So that's good. That works out.
No shit.
Is that RVD?
That's
Holy
RVD
shit.
right now. I was going to interrupt you and be
Oh
like,
my
hey,
God.
RVD, we are watching the
Immediately
WWE Draft right now. It's happening live, and we are checking out the splitting. They're resplitting the roster. So now we got RVD and Michael Hayes on the stage.
My God.
So I think Chris is going to be completely drawn into this right now.
Well, so, yeah, we're passively watching SmackDown right now just to see what happens doing the draft. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. But, yes, free audio book today. We also had a couple of other things going on, Rob. Didn't you recently do a convention? You got something coming up?
Last episode we talked about I worked the 420 Festival Shakedown on Main Street. And that was a lot of fun. And in a similar vein, I'm going to be working the Kaya Club on May the 4th. It's Thursday night. I'm going to be doing Peter Griffin Han Solo, the Carlos Spicy Wiener costume, and we're going to be going down there and smoking and having a good time. But yeah, it's open. You know, you can pay to get in. It's going to be a wild time. Star Wars, all that good stuff. My favorite, you know. And I think we're going to get into it a little bit later in the episode, but we're really getting some Star Wars fever in here. But I think you guys want to talk wrestling first. But yeah, that should be a really good time. Other upcoming stuff. I'm going to be, like I said, doing Brooklyn Comic-Con in June.
Yeah, you got a busy summer. I know
and
that.
I think August is going to be another busy one for me because I think I'm going to be going to Boston for another homemade bong making competition.
In Boston? Oh,
and
all right.
then the weekend after that, I'm flying out to Texas for an anime convention.
Nice. That was going to be
cool.
cool.
So, yeah, that's going to be bing, bang, back to back. So, good stuff coming up for the real life Peter Griffin.
Nice, dude.
Which is good. Bless you!
Oh, God bless
Oh, my
you.
God.
Oh, my
Jesus.
God.
That's everywhere.
Rip to the headphone users.
Fucking rip my
Next week's
vocal cords.
episode's canceled already.
Yeah, my
That's it,
vocal
everybody
cords are popped. Yeah, we noticed the vacancy next to Rob. Joe is out this week. He couldn't make it. He had
Piece of shit.
yeah, he had
Joe would say
vaginitis.
Fucking
Give him
piece
shit
of
today.
Shit.
We're hoping to get Joe back soon.
Fuck that Joe Hogan.
So From the Dungeon said that I gotta be on this podcast one day. We'll put you here, but since Joe's not here, we'll fucking put you in Joe's spot.
We'll have you as a
join remotely.
We have a remote
We'll have
guest.
you as like a hologram, like Hiati Mundi. You know?
I've been a guest on From the Dungeon. Yes, we got to figure out an effect to do that. That when we do the
gotta be like
remotes,
a filter
there's
you
got to
can
be an
just throw
easy
on
filter
people.
that you could do. We'll do that.
What if what if the droid attack of the Wookiee?
You know how hard it is to transplant something into a video
Yeah.
Oh man,
without a green screen?
terrible.
Not to
Remember
be
what you
down
told me about your mother and the sand
there. Sand people. I'm in the middle of watching all that right now. So, all right, what this WWE draft? I'm not familiar with this. This is something that's being brought back, correct? This says happened in the past. They weren't doing it. Now they're splitting up the roster.
They do this every now and then. They kind of change their mind. They'll have they have two shows, Raw and SmackDown. They'll do a draft for both shows. Each show has a roster, and you have two shows where different stars can shine.
Okay.
But then every now and then they just kind of drop that and start mixing the guys from different shows together, and it becomes this blob of a roster. And what ends up happening is you have one guy is the champion now, and for two shows, and I just think that it doesn't really give a lot of people a platform.
Right.
So when you have two separate shows, two separate rosters, you get this. everybody else gets a little bit more shine. Now you have 2 champions. And you
Go get your fucking shine
get your
box.
fucking shine box.
Hey,
If I wanted to break your balls, I tell you to go home and get your fucking shine box.
Motherfucking
Kid used to be good. Shine your shoes real good.
Fucking
Look like
best.
fucking mirrors.
Fucking mirrors. Excuse my language.
Excuse my language.
Love that little one. That's
shine shoes no
what
more.
a great way to
I
draw
don't even
attention.
wait a long
to
time. They
shine
go up
shoes.
there and they tell you.
Oh,
You hear what I said?
1 second, we're breaking balls over here. Yeah, but
fucking
sometimes
fresh.
people don't know.
Getting fucking fresh.
We'll always quote Goodfellas on this show.
There's no way you couldn't. Get your
But as far as the draft goes,
Butt, you fake old tough guy. Keep him here.
keep him here.
Bought your button.
You motherfucker!
So
Yeah, come on.
So they split up Roman
feel
Reigns.
strong?
They split up Cody.
Well,
and
so that's
Roman,
one of the
right?
things that happens with the draft is that sometimes they'll split up tag teams
Okay.
or factions. It just keeps things fresh. It's a way to just kind of mix things up a little bit,
Yeah.
shake things up a bit.
Yeah, it
Vince
sounds.
McMahon would say.
Everyone is speculating heavily. Vince McMahon is much more involved again, or at least that's what they want to blame. Any things they don't like right now. I've heard. I see on social media a lot. Like as an episode of Raw or SmackDown will be coming up, it'll be like Vince fucking faxed in changes.
there's a lot
and I'm
of
like, who's using a fax
Internet,
machine?
fucking people have no idea what they're talking about. We have no idea what we're talking about, but we at least are upfront about that.
It's heavy speculation.
It's a lot
but
of
now with
speculation.
Vince selling the WWE, everyone's getting this idea. There's a lot of changes. They thought changes happened for WrestleMania. They thought the Raw episode after WrestleMania was changed.
That's the way that he operates. Is he makes last-second changes, and you have
Right.
these writers making scripts that are getting thrown out and then rewritten like 5 hours before.
Right.
And obviously, when you're always doing stuff like that, it's hard to kind of have like a coherent, kind of cohesive story.
Yeah.
Now the sale is complete. Like, it's been transferred of power, or is there going to be a transition?
I think it's still like in the works, but it's it's all but done. It's like a foregone conclusion. It's gonna happen. It's happening as we speak.
But McMahon is still currently running it until a certain.
Well, he'll still run it. The way that it worked was so they're merging with the UFC, which is owned by parent company Endeavor.
Mm-hmm.
So Endeavor bought them.
Okay.
They're becoming one big company, which is yet to be named, but they're still going to operate as 2 independent companies. So
Okay.
Vince is still going to head, and whoever else
like
is still going to
shit.
head WWE, and Dana White's still going to head UFC.
Do they finally have enough money to sue the World Wildlife Fund and get WWE?
I know, right?
I don't know if they'll go for that.
I think they're more powerful
tough
than the
battle.
pandas now.
WWE fans would be very happy, but I think it would piss off a lot of
Yeah.
people.
Fuck the pandas.
It's more about entertainment than a federation anyway at this point. But yeah, it's always a
Yeah,
possibility.
Federation was a different
but
time.
WWF
Now it's the
just
universe.
rolls
Now it's
real
WWE
easy, you know?
Universe.
WWF.
It's a WWF.
Yeah. But yeah, so we're watching a draft. I mean, it's nothing really. We don't really have much material to speak about here. I mean, they drafted Roman Reigns and Solo and Heyman, not the Usos.
It's all just more of a
SmackDown.
signal to the bigger picture, which is like they're gonna pull Cody and Roman apart.
It's a
They're
reset.
gonna try to
button.
help, I guess, maximize the Cody Rhodes exposure thing. I think that's one reason they hesitated on crowning him, was they want to further elevate Cody's profile because they think that there's more market to tap into. That's like a business decision or a business analysis would say. Cody's drawing new people, myself included. How much further can he draw before we make him the champ? They don't want to climax too early. You know what I'm saying? They don't want his whole career to go bust. Because where do you go after the champ? Then you're just the champ, and then you're
There's
Roman
a lot
Reigns.
that they could go after the champ. He could face a lot of guys and do a lot of things. So the big
Roman
question
Reigns still
would be-
telling his story, and he's been the champ out.
Well, that's what I'm
fucking
saying, and it's like I don't feel like there's much more meat on the bone with the Roman Reigns.
They're gonna max out the 1,000 fucking day thing or whatever that is. What was it? It's 1,000 days.
They want to get him to 1,000 days, but he hasn't been seen on TV like since he won, pretty much.
Yeah,
So
well.
it's like, 1,000 days, but nothing has happened.
He's never
in the
worked.
past-
He doesn't work. So
Right.
it's like, oh, you got 1,000.
The jabroni.
Okay,
He's
that's
defended the belt 28 times
Braun
within
Strowman's
1,000 days.
through this.
Yeah, actually,
guy
Braun
over
Strowman
the
just
top
had a
rope.
concussion, and he's just coming back.
He looks
Yeah.
good shape.
Yeah,
He
Braun
used to
Strowman
be a
looks like
big
he
guy.
better shape than I'll ever be.
Yeah.
that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, hey, listen, these guys get paid to do it. Start paying me.
If anybody
I'll
wants
be
to
in better shape.
sponsor Rob's fucking
Fitness
fitness
journey.
plan,
That's
then we're out here listening. We're waiting for you.
Send me David Goggins and
I would fucking pay every dime
he would
to see that.
he would
David
hate
Goggins
me and I would
and
hate
Rob.
him. And it would
He'd
be
be like,
terrible.
"Fucking throw away your fucking toys, bitch."
I'd be like, "Go fuck yourself, David Goggins," and he'd be like, "No, fuck you."
He'd
And
be
I'd
like,
"Fair
"Fuck
enough."
you, motherfucker." He would definitely tell you
No,
flat out.
we would just hate each other.
Well,
I
that's-
was a Navy SEAL,
No.
Army Ranger.
There's a
don't
reason
care.
I wasn't in the army.
Yeah,
Well, that's
you'd-
like on Maury when
you'd
like
be
they have
I
like
have a problem with
the
authority.
you'd
the
be
reckless
fearful.
kids, and
It
then they
wouldn't
bring
be-
out the fucking like the drill sergeants to like whip them into shape.
Yeah. So actually,
Speaking
before
of Maury and that kind of TV.
a rich guy did that with Goggins before Goggins got really famous through Joe Rogan. I forgot
It's
which
like
I forgot which
mental
Silicon
torture.
Valley guy did it. I forgot what company it was, but he had heard about him, and he hired him. And Goggins lived with the guy, and they would. So the guy wrote a book about the experience, and dude, he would just legit take him. He would wake him up at like 3:45 in the morning. He'd go into his bed. He's in his bed with his wife, but he gave Goggins like carte blanche. Like, I need to I really want to break this. I need to create new habits. So he fucking gets in the guy's ear at like 3:45 in the morning. Wake up, pussy. He'd just be taunting the guy until he got up. Finally, the guy would get up.
Wait, the guy had a wife?
Guy had a wife.
So this guy and his wife would be sleeping in bed, and then David Goggins comes up and wakes up
Wakes him up.
the husband and says,
Oh,
"Wake
yeah.
up,
Full
pussy."
permission. Full permission. Like, wake up, pussy. You know? Time to fucking get up. You wanted this. This is what you asked for, right? So here it is. Get the fuck up and don't waste my time. You know? And like, he's like, oh, bro. Goggins would just randomly run into the lake that it was like half frozen because it was wintertime. Yeah, Goggins, they would be on a run. He'd be like, yeah, we're going in there. Boop. Go into the lake. Ice bath. Wake up. Oh, dude. Too funny. Goggins is
Yeah, no, thank you.
his book, I would
Not
say,
about that life.
it'll snap some of the things in your mind where you're telling yourself like, oh, I don't think I could do this, or those different moments in life, or when whether it's working out or whatever. His whole thing is about like absolutely breaking down that barrier, because he comes from just what you feel like where you're at, Rob. He's not talking like, oh, he was young and fit and healthy and joined the SEALs and is this fucking awesome. No, he was a fucking exterminator, total hated his life. He talks about his diet, going home
And
with
he was a big guy. He was like 300 pounds.
two
or something.
milkshakes a fucking night, all this shit. He would just down fast food, be miserable. And then, he had a moment and he changed.
He just switched it.
So there's still hope for me.
Mental
That's
strength.
right.
That's if anything
Still
you can
hope.
look at it, there's still hope. But Goggins, don't fuck with Goggins, dude. Never fuck with Goggins. Somebody tried talking shit about him on the internet, and he was not having it. It was actually.
I have
some
massive
former
respect
SEALs.
for the man. There's no question about that. It's just I don't want him to be my trainer.
Yeah, listen. If I had the money,
I'm not ready for David
I'd be like,
Goggins level shit.
here's $1 million. Is $1 million enough? All right. Yeah, and I tell your dad too. Your dad would be on board. He'd be like, "Fuck Rob."
No, I would need David Blaine. I need a fucking magic trick to fix me.
Lame fucking guy. All right, well, we're already off the rails, which is fine. WWE Draft. Let's recap it quick because there's not much more
How
meat on
much
the
is
As
really
bone.
opposed to the
happening there?
WWE
Roman Reigns is on
stout,
SmackDown with Solo and Heyman, and then Cody Rhodes is on Raw, and then they did a couple of other drafts that
Doesn't
we'll see
matter.
what happens. But the Usos were not drafted with Roman, so we'll see where that goes. If they'll end up on a different show, we don't know.
They're breaking up the bloodline.
But just some of the things in the comments here from the dungeon is saying that Solo is going to win the new heavyweight title. We'll talk about that in a second. And the other thing he said was CM Punk versus Cody next year.
So
So let's talk about that topic.
yeah, we
I know
were
my transitions don't make any sense, but that's all right. CM Punk.
CM Punk return. We speculated this a few weeks back. We definitely
I didn't speculate. That.
I speculate. I have the clip. You
There's,
fucking.
there's lots of
Oh, you want me to bring up
speculation
the clip of
abound,
it?
but
Hold on, let me bring up our YouTube that you don't look at.
well,
and
which
I'll
part
show
are you
the
going to say
clip
that
of
he's
us
going to
talking
join
about CM Punk.
WWE?
Yeah, we've talked about CM Punk's return because of Cody and the whole AEW affiliation, and then it became, you fucking hate CM Punk, and I was calling him CW Punk for a minute.
CW
See?
Punk.
And
CW
now he
Anderson.
remembers.
There was a
I said
CW
I said
Anderson.
CW Punk.
He was in the
and
Four
like, who?
Horsemen, I think.
All right, but he was backstage
No, that was Owen.
apparently on Monday Night Raw.
Well,
right?
so that's not necessarily a
story?
big deal because like that happens. Like there's AEW guys that have been backstage at WWE because they're like in a relationship with one of the people And vice versa. There's been WWE guys that are backstage at AEW because they're friends with some of the guys, or they're in a relationship with somebody that's in the other company. So it's not that abnormal, but it's a big deal because it's CM Punk, and he's been out right now after the whole backstage fight thing that supposedly happened backstage. So still a lot of buzz around this guy for whatever reason.
I think you aired it out, dude. You said it last time.
I just, again, I used to like him, but it's kind of like that guy that you work with that's just always bitching about work, and it's cool. You know what I mean? After a certain point, you don't want to hear it anymore. You know what I mean? Right. And it's wherever this guy goes, there's some kind of fucking shit that starts going down. But whatever. We'll see what happens. I don't think it's a big deal.
Well, I was gonna say I think his return seems.
Well, but so here's the thing: is he's apparently returning to AEW.
Oh, okay.
And apparently, and again, this is all speculation and shit that they're saying online. So I'm just repeating what I've heard. I don't know if it's true. But apparently there's going to be a new AEW show on Saturdays. So they're going to have 2 shows with 2 rosters, kind of like WWE's doing. And one roster will be CM Punk and his guys. And the other roster will be the Young Bucks, who are the people that he got into a fight with, Kenny Omega and their guys. So apparently the people who don't get along will be on 2 different shows. Apparently. That's what they're,
allegedly is in the
rumoring
works
right now. And I guess because CM Punk can't work with these guys can't work with him. I don't know. They're going to separate them onto 2 different shows. I don't think anyone's going to really watch it. Their ratings have been going down.
Yeah.
Everybody in the beginning, Joe will always say, "Oh, AEW, they don't put chains on these guys, and they let them do whatever they want, and they could really go and go off and say whatever they want." It's yeah, well, some of these guys need acting classes.
Coaching.
Some of these guys need
coaching.
See
a lot more botches on AEW.
There's a lot of botches on AEW. Yeah. They need more practice wrestling. I mean, who am I to judge? But there's a lot of injuries that happen.
It's just a testament to the level of preparedness that the WWE expects of their performers, because it's very arduous.
They go through a heavy duty training,
and they get injuries too, and they have botches too. But it's rife.
That's life. Nothing goes perfect.
There's a lot on AEW because they're trying to go just too fast. It's like trampoline wrestling. Again, I don't hate it. I love the fact that there's a company where guys like JR and Jericho and all these other people that I love and respect can go and get paid and make a living. Yep. But anytime I watch it, I'm just man, I don't know why. I just don't care about this. I just don't enjoy it. And From the Dungeon is saying that I'm brainwashed here by Shawn Michaels, but no way. AEW is just, it's hard to watch. I just can't watch it. I don't know why. I want to like it. Let's see. We got some stuff going on in the comments here. So he says, "I hate Punk. What the hell?" Yeah, I hate Punk. The fucking guy, the pipe bomb. So back in the day where Punk really made his name was he did this promo. They called it the pipe bomb, where he came out on the stage with the microphone. He sat down Indian style, and he just went on a rant about everybody that fucking works there. Vince, Triple H, Stephanie, they're all fucking idiots. And that this company's going down the shitter, and that he's the man or whatever. And everybody loved it. I remember telling you about it, and you're like, "Yeah, I don't give a shit." Right. I remember specifically telling him, "No, this was cool. You should see this." And you're like, "I'm not watching." No. But it was a cool moment.
All right.
But then what ended up happening was he got the fame and the notoriety. And when you're the guy, it's your life kind of sucks. I don't want to say it sucks, but your life is dedicated to this company.
Oh, yeah.
You are constantly on their time, working ridiculous hours, going to these places.
Appearances, the whole 9.
CM Punk and Joe would be raving right now if, God forbid, I was speaking ill of him. But he didn't get to main event WrestleMania one year, and he took his ball and he went home, and he kind of just quit. And then, years went by. He was out of wrestling. He joined the UFC. Got his ass beat twice.
That one, right? Yeah.
Which it's tough because if you're gonna strike out to do that, you got to win. Brock, even Jack Swagger did that, and he had some success. Jake Hager or whatever his name is now. But yeah, if you're gonna do that, you got to win. And unfortunately, he didn't. He's come back to AEW, and he's gotten into fights with the people there. So, I don't know. I just look at him like he's kind of a little toxic. Unfortunately, it's either that or just he attracts shitheads. It's one or the other. Maybe a little bit of both.
Probably both.
I don't mean to judge him. I don't know him, but There's just like a lot of.
He's very outspoken.
And when that comes with some criticism.
The Aaron Rodgers of the wrestling community.
At the expense of the business, he's
Little
very
drier.
outspoken, and that's what
Rodgers
I
is
think
much
a lot of
smarter
people
than
take
CM Punk.
offense to.
It could be at the expense of the business.
It's putting their jobs at risk, because then, all right, so now CM Punk talks shit about this program. Now people stop watching it.
All right.
The whole idea is to put asses in seats.
Yeah.
That's
At
what
the end of the day,
gauges
you
the
get
success
paid-
of a wrestler.
Yeah. You
To
get
put
paid
asses
more
in seats.
if there's more
And
parents.
he
CM
did
Punk
draw some
complaining
ratings
about
for
everything
them.
is not putting asses in seats. If anything, it's taking asses out of seats.
Well, what
He's a
happens
big
is he'll come back
assuming
and
he's a
it'll
big
be like,
draw.
oh, wow, everyone will check it out. And it'll be like a pop in the ratings and a big jump. And then like nothing happens and then people stop caring. And then the ratings just fall off again. So it's like he's good for like short term, like, oh, wow.
And I wanted to like him because he's like a geek, He's got a Cobra tattoo on his shoulder.
Yeah.
This is like things that I think we would connect on a personal level about. But it's just like
His reputation.
he's just
We didn't
super
get to see enough of
counterculture, and it's like, I don't know.
That's a good way of putting it. Super counterculture, or outspoken. And sometimes when somebody's outspoken for so long, it gets to a point where you're kind of like,
It's like, well, then just
shut
quit,
the fuck
man.
up.
Like,
Yeah,
if you
just,
hate it that much.
exactly.
How do we make it better?
Yeah.
At a certain point, you got to ask, like,
Yes.
all right, it sucks. How do we make it better? Let's go.
Right. So, I mean, hey, who knows? If he comes back and, he makes him and then everybody makes amends with him, because I'm not going to say he was in the wrong in that fight. We don't know.
I think
it was a work. I don't think they even fought at all.
I think
they
it
just-
heavily depends on his relationship with Rhodes.
Well, Rhodes is in AEW, in WWE, so
No,
has
I
no-
mean that, like, if Punk is to return, I just have some weird feeling it has something to do with Rhodes.
well, they don't. I don't know how much interface they've really had in their careers. They've had a little bit. No, well, the big thing when he was backstage at WWE was that he made amends with the Miz. Who apparently
okay.
he hated, and he would talk shit about him, and the Miz was always like, I don't know what his problem is. So this is apparently a thing online. But apparently he actually was making amends with people. So give me a minute. I want to hit this goddamn thing.
He's fucking staring over here. It's his. Fucking, it's like the fifth
Cheers,
time.
everybody, and Joseph.
Oh wait.
But yeah, it's
get anything.
I don't know. They're trying to keep the thing fresh. I mean, you gotta figure they've been running this kind of product since
I'm sure.
fucking-
Yeah, there's a point where they're like, how do we
the fucking 80s,
get
and
more
it's like,
talent
all
into
right,
this?
well,
It's been longer than that. They need something to shake shit up. In my observation, the whole thing is like the reason it's stagnant is there's nothing, and I know that it's easier said than done. Like, what do you make it more edgy, more violent, more what? You can't go back to the Attitude Era, all that shit we've talked about. And it's like, yeah, but you're going to need someone to come in there and shake it up a little bit, Like, even with Cody Rhodes, Cody's like, he's so heavily favored. He's so well-liked. You need to find who can counter that. And Roman Reigns ain't fucking doing it. It's Paul Heyman.
It's the people around him that are entertaining.
Yeah,
he
it's
himself
not-
isn't that.
So that's the thing to me. Someone needs to come in and spice it up and be like, fuck Cody Rhodes. He's a bitch. Whatever. Just something a little bit more that will, like, oh, shit. Like, cool. Instead of this foregone conclusion, we're just fucking waiting for Rhodes to get this new belt. And
we just keep having all these
'cause once that
generic
happens-
look-alike fucking characters.
yeah, once Rhodes gets the belt, it's like, oh, I understand there's a lot you could do with it. You have a whole new avenue to go down with it, but it's like, yeah, but in this current setup, it doesn't feel like it's going to work well long term because
From a
Brock's
personal
out,
opinion,
right?
I feel like they're
No.
all fucking boring
How long is Brock going to be
characters.
around for?
well,
He seems to be.
so you brought up the belt. Let's talk about that because
Yeah,
I
new
think
belt.
that ties into everything that we're talking about, right?
Just-
So they announced that
Alright.
there's a new belt. It's going to be, they just announced that Roman Reigns is on SmackDown, so the belt is going to be on Raw. It is a callback to the big gold belt, which was the WCW and the NWA Heavyweight Championship. It's the Ric Flair belt, pretty much.
Okay.
It's the big
They
gold
slapped
belt.
the big WWE.
They changed it up, but you know what? I'm all right with that.
I don't like the black,
They're
but
paying homage to a classic title, but they're also making a new version because they got to sell merch, and honestly, that's what all the other companies are doing too. AEW's belt has a big AEW in the middle of it. At least it's not a giant W, which is what it
I
is
thought that
now.
looked terrible.
So,
Hey, we just took the logo and slapped it on a bit, like,
Yeah.
in a way that looks awful. It doesn't have flair. It doesn't have like pizzazz or the feeling of like this is actually similar to an Olympic gold medal. That's
Right,
always
or
what they were
a true
hinting at with
championship.
this shit.
Yeah.
It was a real belt. It was just like the wrestling belts you would win in Greco style Roman wrestling.
Right.
They that's what it used
Or
to
even
be.
boxing.
Now
boxing has
boxing
similar
is a good example.
belts.
Those are very much like that, And now it's just into this fucking corny plastic looking cheap,
Yeah.
People would just rather hard pressed gold
Right, like a
plate
plate.
with that's fine. I think that it accomplishes everything it should. The only thing I didn't like with the new belt, it looked cool, and especially when I saw it like in action, like they had a good video of it. Like it looks cool. It looks fucking super gold. I just don't like the black W. It just looks a little
When you
tacky
catch different
compared to
lighting, it's it works, but a couple of things. They just drafted Lashley to SmackDown. Teddy Long is out, and JBL. Teddy Long used to be the general manager of SmackDown.
Oh,
And he would
I
always,
recognize him.
his punishment would always be, just for that, you going one-on-one with The Undertaker. That was like, you could watch the video compilations of Teddy Long just telling people, you gonna face The Undertaker. And then they're always like, no.
Oh, no.
But just to address some of the comments here, so from the Dungeon mentioned, I don't think that there's anything that they could do for AEW to put asses in seats. It's a very lame show.
No.
Unfortunately, I agree right now. Hopefully that changes, but I don't know. I kind of lost faith.
I like the rebranding of the show.
Yeah, I mean they're trying to do that.
Of our show in the comments. Sorry, the Smoke Room podcast.
Oh
I
yes,
like
the
that
smoke
Dungeon.
room. Yes, we always got some. It's like a Chinese opium den in here sometimes. So from the Dungeon also said the big gold belt and the Winged Eagle are the best. And the reason I wanted to make sure to mention that, we got the Winged Eagle right here.
Yes.
Official WWF.
And speaking of my Winged Eagle,
this
on the
is yours.
6th,
This isn't Chris's.
and maybe you want to come since it's going to be a weekend day. Going to try to go to Jersey to get Sarge to sign that belt.
Oh, that's
That'd
right.
be
He's
cool.
back at the
The Men in
Gymnasium
Sports
there.
Arena in Morristown, New Jersey. They're doing 80s Wrestling Con.
Mm.
They're going to have a bunch of people.
Yes.
They're going to have the...
I can't believe that was a year ago, by the way.
Bret Hart's actually going to be there, too. Funny enough.
Oh,
We
it's
just
Bret
keep-
and Sarge? Oh, that's
Bret,
good. That's good for the
Sarge,
show.
It's going to be... it's going
That's
to be a
just
few
going to be
people.
packed then.
It's going to be a bunch of people.
Yeah, I mean, it was full.
But I want to get Sarge to sign that belt. It's actually part of the reason why I bought that belt. I had, the intention of having him.
Oh, he'll
sign
love
it.
to sign that shit for you.
And it'll be funny to have both Bret and Sarge. And then I think maybe the only other one I'd try to get is Hogan.
You could also probably just straight up cut that line altogether.
Oh, if it's Sarge, I'm definitely cutting the line.
Yeah, sorry,
In
guys.
fact, I did cut the line because when Sarge showed up to the Francis Lewis Boulevard signing,
right,
they made me cut the entire line and go first.
Yeah. No, he just loves you. You're a personal friend, so it's different. It's.
I mean, not for
You
no
gotta
wait,
dig
no,
up
he's
the
not gonna let
video.
you wait on
You gotta
that
dig
line.
up
Come
that
on,
video where he
come
It's not
shouts
even.
us out.
It's Rob doesn't cut the line when he could actually. He always will wait for signings and everything like everybody else, and he'll entertain the entire fucking line while he waits. But Sarge is a friend, so he will call him to be like,
Come October, we're
Come to the
friends
front.
10 years.
"Oh my god."
I know Sarge 10 years. I met him in 2013 at New York Comic Con.
Really have to ask him if he would be cool calling into the show one time.
That would be amazing. Yeah,
Just
we gotta-
before,
we gotta-
like, we
see.
can't do shit like that.
That'll
You
be
know?
something.
just come with me. Just come.
Well, so
I
wanna
mean, now I
mention-
go. Well, what's you know
Regarding this belt, you have to expect that if they bring it back, if they unify the two belts that Roman has right now and turn it into, if they bring the Winged Eagle back for Cody,
I'd be very
like we've
happy
been
about
speculating, it's going to look different. It's not going to look like this. They're going to
Right,
slap
right.
a little circular WWE logo in the middle of it. You have to be
So,
ready for that.
all right,
They're
so
going to
wait.
change it a little bit.
Explain the belt situation to me because I do not understand. I know right now there's like Roman has 3 belts or 2 belts.
No, he has 2 belts. He has
Universal Champion and Heavyweight Champion, right?
Universal Championship and the WWE Championship.
Well, the WWE
So there's
is
always
the
been a
Heavyweight
WWE
right?
Championship, and then the big gold was functioning as the World Heavyweight Championship for a while, which was like the
Oh,
Raw
okay.
brand belt
Okay.
most of the time. Then they, I don't know if they unified them at some point. Well, they unified them back in the day as the Undisputed Championship in like the early 2000s. They split them again since. They've kind of like
Do
split
they
them
still have
running
the
back.
Intercontinental Championship?
Still have the Intercontinental in the United States. There's usually one belt on each brand. Then they were just doing the Raw Championship and the SmackDown Championship. Or so, oh, no, I'm sorry. They were
See,
calling
this
it the
is fucked. I don't know
WWE
what the
Championship
hell.
and the Universal. So it was no longer called the World Heavyweight. It was called WWE and the Universal. Roman has both of those. So right now he's the undisputed WWE Universal Champion. So those two, he's got those two belts, and pretty much Triple H came out and said, well, we need for the other brand a champion that's actually going to be here and wrestle. So I can't do anything to get the belts off of him. So for the opposite brand, we're creating this belt. And he pretty much brought back the old school World Heavyweight Championship again.
Oh.
So Roman's two belts will eventually be unified into one. They're phasing out the Universal, I guess, and going to make who knows what they'll call it, the Undisputed Championship. It'll be the WWE belt lineage, and then the World Heavyweight Championship. We don't know in terms of lineage if it's absorbing the World Heavyweight Championship lineage of old or the Universal Championship in terms of who's held it or whatever. But, yeah, it gets a little confusing. But at the end of the day, we got belts and they want to sell them, and it's cool merch.
I like, when it makes sense that you have, I guess it's similar to wrestling. You have, like, the regional champion, then you have the international champion, the world champ, the intercontinental, and the tag team. There should probably be like 4 or 5.
Well, so you have the main belts, which you have the two belts we just mentioned. Then you have the secondary belts, which are the intercontinental, which is one brand, and then the United States Championship, which is the other brand. They're pretty much equivalent.
Should get rid of that.
No, I mean it's same idea. It's if you have two brands with two different rosters.
Don't they have one belt and both rosters fight for the one belt?
No, they have two.
It's two totally separate.
The only reason why it's one belt is because Roman has both belts for so fucking long.
All right, so I'm a football fan. I look at things like AFC, NFC.
Sure.
That works. I think that, to me, if I were them.
Which it kind of does work that way, because when they go for the major championship, it's the two, it could be anybody from SmackDown
the event
or Raw.
Unifies. Well, every now and then they may have a champion versus champion match, but they got to stop fucking unifying the belts. Again, you need to have a champion on each show because it lets you have more than one top guy.
I get that. So there is the AFC Championship, which actually usually is the harder game. So to me, I think it would be smart. Yeah, you have your, again, I say AFC, NFC, but
two brands.
SmackDown, Raw.
Yeah, two brands,
and
two
then
sets
you're
of
big,
champions.
Then you're just big. When the two holders of that championship go
they
against
usually
each other.
don't go against each other.
Why? What?
Because then you're unifying the belts and you're fucking creating the same problem again. You got to have
the
two
AFC never absorbs the NFC Championship. They're the champions of those, and then the Super Bowl is the Super Bowl. It's like Super Bowl is both leagues. No, it's one league. I'm sorry, but both conferences going head to head. So I just mean that's how I would structure.
Well, they
it
do that on
here.
Survivor Series usually. That was always traditionally one of the things they do in Survivor Series was it would be the Raw versus SmackDown brand.
All right.
So
I think
Clash of Champions.
I think if they're gonna do it again, this is the second or third go around.
They have two sets of belts too. So you have the Raw and the SmackDown belts. They have both. Those will eventually split.
Like 4 belts. It makes belts unimportant. When I have 12 belts, I just mean to say it minimizes the impact of each one. These guys are fucking 2 fucking belts. Why? And they're just red.
Because they had 2 belts because they unified them because you had champion versus champion and then they owned both. That's the problem when you have champion versus champion is then they continue to hold the belt and then they have to lose it and it muddies everything up.
They should only be able to lose it to somebody in their conference or in their division or in their fucking and that belt should be reserved for that thing.
Or if they want it, they would have to relinquish it, or they've had it where they swapped brands, so they swapped belts.
I am the fucking king of both. I won. I beat both. I'm the best at all the wrestlers. That's the point, right? There's no division. There's no I'm in this and SmackDown, you're in Raw. Eventually, it all comes down to who's the best, singular, and you have to have the best of the best go against each other to get it. So I think it makes sense to have a best of the best belt while they could still maintain or relinquish if they won the championship.
Yeah, I mean, you get bragging rights for sure, but I like the idea. 2 separate champions, as long as they keep that, I'm all for it. The question, though, becomes is the belt, this new belt that they're making, obviously Cody's going to be on that brand, so if he gets it, is it like a consolation prize?
Hell yeah.
Because Dusty held the big gold belt. It's not that Dusty was never the champion. He held the big gold belt. He held the World Heavyweight Championship. That's the NWA belt. he never held the WWE belt. So
okay.
that's the whole story. Is this like a consolation prize? You know, will it mean as much? I think it will. You just got to have two separate brands that do their own thing. But interesting nonetheless.
Yeah, they'll take it in some
I wish
direction.
I could have met Dusty. That would have been amazing.
Yeah.
I'm sure he was out.
American Dream. That's the road.
From the Dungeon thinks that I look like Austin Theory now that I got this haircut. He looks like me because I'm older than him. So.
Austin Theory
He looks
copied
like
Sweet because Austin Theory, when he was last year or the year before, he was real soft looking.
Yeah. He's definitely ripping off my style for sure.
He's stealing the Chris Sweet.
All right, so yeah, we talked about the championship. I think that really covers everything wrestling wise. We'll move on from that because there are some people who fucking hate when we talk about
Star
wrestling
Wars.
Anyway. Yes, you're here for Star Wars.
A pillar, one of the pillars of the show. Star Wars season.
Star Wars fever.
May the 4th is
imminent. Is looming. It's looming.
How much have you played Jedi Survivor so far?
Not much.
I mean, yeah, it's been
Not
out
much.
for.
I'm still in the very.
I'm sitting
first
here
part of the
instead.
game.
To be honest,
Literally.
Yeah.
I would be playing right this moment if I could. I started it last night. Unfortunately for me, I woefully discovered that the HDR element of the game was broken on PS5. So the whole reason that it was broken, there's a bug in the HDR settings.
When you say broken, what happens? You turn the game on.
It's black. It's basically
Totally black
and then
screen.
you just see some elements of what they're supposed to be showing you.
outlines of movement.
Yeah, it's not even like glitched. It's just as if the contrast
So
to black
unplayable.
unplayable would be the word. So I was very frustrated because, I waited till the midnight release and shit and, pre-ordered the game. But I turned off HDR. That was a quick fix. That's frustrating. You're playing a next-gen game. I have a fucking LG C2 fucking HDR TV. I want to see this shit in the fucking at its best. But I was being impatient, so I started playing anyway. Game's awesome. I will say the fighting feels really good. Wielding the lightsaber, just the very limited amount that I played, it's going to be a shitload of fun.
I'm still in the very beginning, very first part, first few skirmishes and stuff. But coming off Fallen Order, because I just replayed Fallen Order, you definitely feel like a stronger Cal Kestis.
Well, that's what I wanted
agree.
to ask. So you're starting with your abilities. It's not like
Absolutely.
Yes.
I'm a little kid who doesn't know what I'm doing. You're
Nope.
starting
Yes.
off with all your powers because
since-
that was the last
Since
game,
coming
right?
off that game,
exactly.
all the controls are the same. So it's like I feel like a natural progression over. But when I'm fighting these guys, because I'm fighting this on like I did it like story easy difficulty on when I replayed Fallen Order because
Right.
I already platinumed the game. I didn't need to do a challenge.
Test yourself
on it.
again, yeah.
But now I'm playing it on like 2 levels up from easy.
Yeah.
I would say, and
Usually play on normal.
I feel like I'm kicking these guys' asses more than I was even in the last game.
You are strong. You have
You're a
full
Jedi.
force
You're not
abilities.
just like trying
You're
to get
just
your shit back. You're
launching
already,
people off.
That's
Bye.
nice.
See you later. Fucking devastating fucking lightsaber stuff. Not just like fum. I'm talking like heavy slashes and stabbing the guy on the ground. Arms and limbs can come off now. That was a new addition.
And I took a
nice.
peek at the skill tree, and there's a lot more
Oof.
to chew off there.
The analogy that I read that I felt was apt was that this is the Arkham City to Batman's Arkham Asylum.
Mm-hmm.
So in that game, Arkham Asylum, it was, narrow passage. You're in one
Still
location.
a fantastic game, but
Awesome.
when they opened up the world and made
Right.
it less linear, like more sandboxy.
That
You know
really
me.
showed
I
the-
like playing in a sandbox. I don't like when I'm on. I have
many
guardrails
rails.
showing me where to go.
They
too
get
much.
they open this up. This is definitely a clear, a true sequel. Almost in the vein of God of War. You have full strength. There is no.
I'm glad
amnesia.
about that because I'm so fucking tired of doing these fucking
Restarts.
tutorials. Anytime
Yeah,
you
I
start a
know.
new game, you got to go through some fucking tutorial
Right.
where they treat you like you're a fucking idiot.
your
And don't
first video
fucking bring
game.
up Elden Ring because that game fucking
Elden
sucks.
Ring.
That game sucks.
Doesn't hold your hand.
It doesn't hold your hand, but they
Very
don't fucking
good.
do anything for you.
It's a
They
great
don't
game.
fucking. They don't.
But even the tutorial in the
year.
beginning of the game is very unobtrusive. It's not pausing the whole fucking game like,
Right.
hey,
Press
look at
X.
this thing, and it's
Yeah.
like, no.
It has
it's
a couple
I'm
of
so
keys.
tired
While
of
you're
that.
hitting, you can see, it'll flash that you're hitting the button that they're telling you about in the beginning. But
They don't do it with the shit but But the new shit they do. You have like a companion now, and you can instruct him to do a thing. So
It's a robot, right?
No. Well, yeah, of course you still have BB-8. Was it BB-7? BB-8?
BD.
Oh no,
BD1.
that's the wrong one. BD-1. I'm thinking of the wrong one.
Zach says there's decapitation as well.
Oh, nice.
Decapitation.
Oh, I'm totally in. So I actually read today the fix is very easy for the HDR problem. You just have to go into the PS5 settings and slide the darkest one, the one that controls black. You have to bump that up a little bit. It can't be at true black. But once they fix it, you got to bring it back to true black because that dictates basically the Pixel and the PlayStation's ability to tell the Pixel to go to 0 or off.
And I'm too stupid to change any of that, so I don't have this problem because I didn't.
Rob didn't have the problem.
anything.
I never updated his settings on his system, so I would say that it's still it's very worth making those changes to your HDR settings for the TV and the PS5 to make sure.
We'll get Phil on here to just walk everybody watching. We got to get him on here just to talk about TVs.
At any time.
He was talking about TV settings in the party chat, and everybody was just silent, like listening to him, asking questions. It was like a TED Talk.
Ready?
I mean that as a compliment.
I'm at work, and I was explaining that I bought this TV, and I was like, yeah, it's definitely it's true next gen. I'm playing true next gen. I'm playing PS5 now. I was playing a little bit of a half measure before. So I'm just telling some people at work about it, and I keep saying like, yeah, Phil said, and they're like, who the fuck is Phil, and what is he? Why is he your like North Star? I go, first of all, if you knew Phil, you wouldn't even ask. Second, this guy goes in. He had a professional calibrator come to his house to calibrate his TV. I'm talking about a $30,000 source monitor. I don't know if you've ever seen these things. It's like what the film industry uses to know the color correction and shit. The guy is charting the output of the pixel, making sure it's hitting its peak nits. Phil goes in. And he was talking about the LG C1 series for at least a year or two before I was able to buy one. Now the prices have come down. So yeah, Phil fucking knows. It should just be a stamp on our show. If we approve of something, it's just Phil.
Phil stamp of approval. A couple of things happening.
Hey, Shawn Michaels is on the TV screen.
Not just that, AJ Styles is back.
Not just that,
which is a big deal.
Look who's on the screen right now.
It is Shawn Michaels.
Shawn is coming out.
They got a bunch of people coming out to I guess. Oh, there's Road Dogg. DDOGG. Yeah, they're bringing out people to make the announcements for the draft.
They got their reading glasses on.
It's cute. You know, it's a little something different.
That's how they unify. Yeah, again, they're all.
That's how they get people to be interested. Because like, oh, somebody that actually is good. Here we go.
Yeah, exactly. You get the exact reaction that I just gave them.
Yeah.
That's the problem, is that they don't have these characters that like they're boring. I don't give a fuck about any of these.
There
guys.
is a lack of risk. People are scared to express things, whatever it is, opinions or. No one wants to offend anybody.
This is what happens when the wrestlers stop doing coke.
And I don't mean like, oh, you have to be offensive to make it interesting. That's not what I mean at all. But what happens is people safeguard ideas because they're already fearful and they're just like, nah, I want something safe. Everything they're doing is intentionally safe at every stage. There's nobody out there who's like, you know, rocking a red cap and telling people to go fuck themselves. Like back in the 90s, they would have leaned into that whole thing.
Heavy.
Now they don't want to touch it, which, you know, I get it. They don't want to over-politicize, whatever. But there's just a sense, I think, of fear when it comes to being creative now. And that goes for games. That goes for a lot of things. People, why are there remakes? Why are we remaking everything? Because it's safe. You know it's already approved. Like, all right, cool. We'll remake that thing because if there's anything in there they don't like, we can either change it or we'll just be like, yeah, that's how it was back then. So there's just, I think, a sense of creative fear out there, and it permeates everything. And I think the WWE is a victim of it.
Well, just want to address some of the comments that we have out here. While we have 9 people watching, again, we're going to be giving away a free audio book. So I'm just going to mention that. In the comments section, if you can guess whatever number is in my head, between 1...
We need a better one than that.
It's only 100 numbers. It's really
somebody
not that much.
Can't come up with, I don't know.
Guess the number between...
Joke.
It's a free fucking $15 book, all right? You
joke.
guess the fucking number. You're getting a free fucking book.
Make us laugh.
Guess a number between 1 and 100, and whoever gets it in the comments, you get a free. Get a free audiobook. I mean, we'll come up with something better, but you know, I don't want to do like a joke competition. I feel like that's it's too subjective. You know what I mean? How do you actually choose? You need a definitive way to know that somebody's winning fairly.
Audible. I want to listen to the Plagueis book. I want to listen to the new Thrawn books.
I wish Audible would sponsor this podcast.
Ultimately, I want to go back and re-listen to Heir to the Empire and the original Thrawn.
Yeah, that's what you got to do.
I haven't read those since I was in high school. It's been a very long time.
Vin, I got to tell Vin the number because they're already guessing in the comments now. So, yes, guess the number between 1 and 100. If you get the correct number, you get a free audiobook. It's got to be one that we've discussed on the show, though. So we're not just going to give you, like, fucking 100 ways to die.
Style where the closest person under?
No, you just keep guessing. Somebody's going to get it. I'm going to choose it right now.
How often can people place a ballot, or can they just keep
you could just guess as many times as you want. I'm not going to put a limit on it this time. You could do one number. You just can't do 1, 2, 3, 4. You can't do one after the other. So guess the number. If you get the correct number, Vin knows what it is. You get a free audiobook. We'll either give you one of the Plagueis books.
No, you see what we're going to start doing? We're going to start making people tweet about the show.
Yeah. We're going to start putting you guys to work for us to get free shit. But for now, you just got to comment.
I love Pat. Pat would be like, tweet something nice to somebody. Use this hashtag. And we'll pick someone whatever comment we like the most. They do, they'll do that, or they'll just, put it in a fucking spreadsheet and pick it. Yeah,
well, I got plenty of Audible credits, so we'll definitely do some stuff like that.
Oh boy,
we'll let you guys duke it out in the comments there. Whoever gets it, you get the free book. We've already given a free book to From Dungeon Podcast. He's enjoying Plagueis right now. Dungeon, let us know if you started it or not. I think I gave him Plagueis. And then also Zach has been enjoying some of the Game of Thrones books. So multiple guesses are totally cool, Jacob. You just can't do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You gotta do random numbers. But if you get the number, you get the book. Just some of the other stuff in the comments before it gets buried by all the numbers. When Zach brought up decapitation, that made me think there's not a lot of games where you could decapitate people.
Very few. World at War was definitely one of them. Call of Duty World at War was a game where
Skyrim, you could do it.
People would just fucking explode and there'd be limbs everywhere.
Force Unleashed.
Force Unleashed was another great one.
Did it let you decapitate them in Force Unleashed?
You could fucking really go in. That game was great.
You could decapitate people in a Jedi Academy as well.
Oh, shit. Okay.
You could completely dismember them. You could actually chop their limbs off after they were dead in that game.
I like that. Red Dead Redemption, of course, you could just blast their freaking limbs off with a shotgun.
Yeah.
We need more of that. I'm tired of, like, shooting somebody and they just, like, absorb. It's like we want realism, and that's, part of the realism. We want the gore.
It would be a little bit of a side conversation. Did you see the video, to your point about hyper-realistic video games? There was a video of a new game, Unreal Engine, with the police body,
vest, the body cam.
And it looks hyper-real. Yeah. And
I thought that was real.
The one guy that was playing it, who apparently tried it out, said, like, it really does blur the line on, like, what it felt like to shoot somebody because of
how real
the nature of what you were seeing and how the fidelity and how the body was responding.
Getting real PTSD from war.
It was definitely it was just posed as a question as to, like, this is a really clear.
When does this turn into Live Leak?
And how does this affect kids? How does this affect people? Now, we've gone through this a million times. We're gonna keep going through it. There are age limits for all things.
Of course.
All things can be enjoyed.
The ESRB exists for a reason.
Yeah, and
of course,
all good things can be enjoyed by adults if you're over the age of 18, and that's your fucking choice. And if I want to play it, I'm going to try it out. If I get that same reaction, Chris has
play Lego Star Wars.
Yeah, play Lego Star Wars. If I have that reaction, I'll be like, ooh,
Nintendo never going to have anything like that.
I've never been violent because I play violent video games.
No,
that's just not my attitude. My behaviors don't reflect that. Now, again, I'm speaking for my fucking self, but that's a good question. Like, hyper realistic decapitation, dismemberment,
mutilation.
Like, Jesus, like, how far does it go?
When does it cross the line?
Right. I want fidelity and I want a reality to it, but also I'm used to movies. So, yeah, I see movie blood. I don't see real gore, like wartime. Nobody wants to see that. Even people, you know what I mean? Like,
I do want to shout out Brutal Legend though.
This
Brutal
guy,
Legend
Chris,
was a video game that came out in the PS2 era, and Jack Black plays this like roadie for a metal band that like gets transported into this metal world, and fucking Ozzy Osbourne's in it, and Lemmy from Motorhead's in it. Like they have all these fucking like metalheads like in the game, and like Jack Black plays like the main character, and it's fucking great. But when he kills the main enemy of the game, he cuts his head off, and he's like, decapitation. I think that every time I hear the word decapitation.
Zach couldn't help it. He wanted to ask, what are my thoughts on the Rodgers trade? I fucking hate it, of course.
I'm very happy.
It's not what I wanted. I didn't want this to happen. I definitely didn't think he was going to the fucking Jets.
Woo!
And, it all came to fruition. I hope he plays well, unless he's playing the Packers. That's all I'll say.
Guy likes his green teams.
He came to the Johnson & Johnson vaccination team, which is ultra ironic. There's a lot of irony that surrounds Rodgers coming to New York, but all in all, it's like a breakup of sorts. This guy's been on my team for 18 years since I was a kid. Lot of ups and downs with the team. So, definitely feel like, damn, you broke up with somebody. They moved on. He's wearing the other jersey. He's wearing his old college number. And you're like, all right, that relationship's over. You got to move on. But I hope he does well. The Jets deserve it. He gives them the best opportunity at success. He's an unbelievable fucking player. My hope would be that this helps further his legacy and doesn't hurt it. I really don't want him to suffer from the Brett Favre kind of thing. Come to New York, be mediocre. It all doesn't really work out, and then it just ends up being a bust. That's my biggest fear. But all in all, keep him healthy, and he'll win fucking games out here in New York, and I'll be happy to go to MetLife and watch him play. So we'll see.
Will you get a Rodgers Jets jersey?
I won't. I got a free Brett Favre Jets jersey because I worked at Reebok. Chris.
I remember that back in the day.
They gave us free jerseys. It just basically were like
a year or two.
Fucking take a free jersey. All right. And that was legit at the time.
I don't remember ever getting a free jersey.
It was the only
discount. Good discount.
They said take home a jersey. I said, okay.
Oh wow.
Brett Favre. Fine. Yeah, Brett Favre number 4.
They were doing that when they got the NFL contract. They had us. I remember I got like a Manning jersey. I think about it. Yeah.
So that's the only reason I have it. It's still in my closet. I never wore it. It's useless. It just is there. Every day it sits there, it's more mediocre.
Collector's item,
just like his time there.
$130 I could have gotten.
You know how much Brett Favre gear I got from him in Green Bay, where it matters most. That's what I mean. Like it matters most because that's where your career is remembered. Your primary
I don't want to be the guy
team.
that buys his jersey and then
Tom Brady
Yeah,
is a Patriot, right? When time finally goes by, when this, we're 4 or 5 years removed, Tom Brady's a Patriot. He won't be remembered for his time in Tampa.
I don't know, because he went and he won in Tampa.
He got a Super Bowl. It's a legacy. It helps his legacy. But when you go Tom Brady,
it'll
mind just goes Patriot. He's just a historic. When he's retired, when he's gone, and one day when he's gone. That's how people will remember him. It will not be that one time he won the Super Bowl in Tampa. It'll be like, wow, he fucking had a legendary career in New England.
If anything, it's more impressive that he was able to win without Belichick. So it's not like it helps was that team.
It helps his individual legacy, and it just solidifies him as the best quarterback ever. Even though Aaron Rodgers is a more talented quarterback, I would say, in terms of arm talent and throw abilities. But, yeah, we're off on a football thing. Sorry, I had to answer that, though. I knew
I'm just
Zach
making sure nobody gets the number.
Zach wanted to poke the bear on it. And, it's definitely a sense of disappointment. But, if he didn't want to play there and we didn't want him there, there's no sense in you got to divorce. You got to break up. You got to move on. It's better for everybody, and it'll be better in the long run when he does come back and we retire his number. I'll fucking fly there. I'll go there for that if I can, because that'll be one of the most historic things that I'll be able to witness in sports. I didn't get to see Michael.
I mean, you own a part of the Green Bay Packers, so
fucking do indeed. I'm flying out there this year. We're going this season.
Part owner.
That's right.
just because they're still kind of guessing a little bit in the comments there, we'll make it easier. The number is above 50. If you're trying to guess for the book, it's above 50.
Just let them keep going.
Nah, I'll make it easier.
Adds comments to the fucking the total.
I know,
tally.
but then they start giving up, and then they don't get it.
They start giving up.
They start
they're
giving
just
up.
guessing a random fucking number. And
We're trying to get some comments here. Damn it! It's an easy way to get comments. You do it on Twitch all the goddamn time. All right, so from the Dungeons also asking, what do we think of the Flash reviews so far? Flash movie.
Bro, I haven't seen any reviews. I mean, are you
gonna see
Ezra
it?
Miller?
It's the definition of winning cures all, and it doesn't matter how much you hate somebody. Everybody's gonna see that movie because of Batman.
It's literally Michael Keaton. Yeah. That's the only reason I want to see that movie at all.
Yep, I know.
Yeah.
And he's a heavy part of what they're marketing. I watched that.
Like, if he gets killed halfway through the movie, I'm getting up and leaving. I mean, I'm not even going to watch the rest of the movie.
They're all dying. It's like a multiversal thing. It's, they're going to
get up and leave.
They can't help themselves, but they always have to kill them. Whenever they do, like, a continuation like this.
Aptly named, because it'll be like the Flash and
Ben Affleck is in the movie, too. There's both Batmen.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies, I just don't care enough to go to the theater, per se. If we want to do it as the gang, like, I'm down, but I'm like...
I think the Dark Knight movies are the only DC movies I've seen in the theaters.
Oh, those are so... I mean, the first two were so ecstatically great.
Yeah.
I saw
You're
Dark Knight.
barely adapted to that.
Yeah, don't do that. Nobody likes that. It makes a joke out of the whole fucking series.
Bane? I didn't hate the Bane story.
The voice. I don't like the voice.
There's something different, it's...
They should have,
it should have went something more fucking Darth Vader-y or something like this. I don't know. That was also Hardy's
it's unique and people are still
like
doing
Latino,
impressions.
Like they did in the cartoon, because he was like intelligent and shit. Like, not only could he like completely destroy Batman, but like intellectually he was a match too. Like that's.
But yeah, the fuck.
What are the
fuck
reviews?
Ezra Miller, like, to be really
That's
blunt,
how everybody
like,
feels
fuck
right
him.
now. Fuck them.
Fuck them. Give a shit,
Whatever.
dude. You're fucking
If you're
imposing
an asshole,
yourself
you're an asshole.
on everybody, and that's like
he fucking kidnapped.
You could just be chilling, bro. You could.
That's what it was,
I don't
right?
even know.
It was
I don't even care. I don't even want to know. I just know, like, your whole reputation
crime,
is
assaulting.
fucked.
Well, why it bothers, and I think why we get angry is it's not even like you did this and we're judging you. It's that you're affecting other people. Like, you're jeopardizing this movie now, and people are going to go and not see it just because this person's been an asshole. So that's where it's
off the rails.
Yeah. Go get the help that you need. That's fine. That's
apparently
perfectly fine.
That's happening now. So we'll see what happens.
I'll end up seeing it 100%. Whether it ends up on HBO Max. No, I just mean like it'll end up on HBO Max or Max. I hate that, by the way.
Yeah.
Max. We're just gonna get rid of HBO. You're gonna get rid of the best fuck. We're just gonna have Rob not be on the show anymore.
Mighty Max, Mighty.
But it is more than
why?
it is more than HBO now.
Fuck
it's
that.
like Discovery or Discover.
HBO Plus would have been.
So
fine.
wait, they're just getting rid of HBO as like a name.
It's called
I don't
Max.
know. I don't know if it's totally like there's still gonna be like HBO
It's out
original.
of the name, yes, but
they'll
it's
still do the if they still do the
If
static.
they don't do the static, if they get rid of the home,
something.
I'm leaving. I'm
David
getting up and leaving.
Plepler
I don't know.
fucked up.
Imagine they strip it away from the. Here's a question for you. Fuck, I hate getting off the rails like this, but I just came to my mind.
we're
How do you feel about? It's like a deep question. I wish I put this on the rundown.
There's the belt, by the way. If you didn't see.
Belt looks good on camera. That's important. I think belt looks good live versus the photos.
Terrible.
The black fades away. I see what you're saying. It's more reflective than it was in the shots.
But anyway, I didn't mean to derail.
So no, saw an article about. I think they asked Steven Spielberg this. How do you feel about them going back and editing movies, like digitally changing things, like removing the. I believe it was removing the guns from E.T. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, well, they replaced the guns
at
with
kids.
radios. Yeah. I think that was. I remember I learned that through South Park. I think they replaced the guns with radios. And
Did they actually do it? Or were they gonna do it?
No, I think they did do it. I'm pretty sure that they re-released the movie and they like remastered it and they edited out the guns and instead the guards were just carrying radios.
I feel like you're erasing history.
It's Orwellian in every fucking way. If you ever read 1984, it's the most Orwellian fucking thing ever. And I agree
use that
to one
lightly.
point. I think it's over fucking used, the word Orwellian, but it's by definition that.
I agree to
It's
one
art.
point.
Don't
Only
go back.
I think that only applies though if the original creator wants to continue to
Hey, they want to
refresh it.
re-release it. That's them.
I can understand
well,
a
that's
creator
George
wanting
But the
to make a
problem is
better
that's
version
not how
of
it works.
George Lucas.
That's not how it works. The studio owns the fucking movie, not the director, not the writer, not anybody else. And if the studio felt it upon itself, they could do it if they wanted to. I firmly fucking disagree with it. Art is art. It's like the Mona Lisa. Don't change it. It's there. Don't go back and redo the Greek pyramids. Actually, Dan Carlin, similar conversation, funny enough. Dan Carlin, Hardcore History.
Great podcast,
Big
Hardcore
history buff.
History.
Yeah, Chris showed me him 10 years ago, and the guy's stellar. Half inspiration for our show. But he's much more informed, much more prepared. He really goes in. And Dan Carlin asked, or was discussing, they are going back and updating historical locations to make them like they were back when they were.
He did ask that question,
Yes.
and
his point was basically
he didn't know for sure.
he didn't have a definitive, but he said as much as he would like to walk up the steps of the Promethean fucking thing in Greece, like, aren't you just? It's not what it was, and now it's a new boat. It's a new ship. They built a new ship.
I get that.
And then you brought up a great point.
Having gone to Greece,
you can't even touch it
You can't
anyway.
even touch anything. You can't go in. Everything is stanchioned off, so you can't even go in the buildings of the Acropolis there.
You want to build a replica? Go build a replica. Knock yourself
I
the
think
fuck
there's
out.
I think there's something of
museum,
significance though of if you're using the same stone and you're keeping it true to the original. I'd like the idea of renovating old works if they're not even if you're not able to
You wanna
fully enjoy
remove
them.
But I'm talking about like removing the dick from like the Michelangelo statue. You know
Well,
what I mean? Like
that's
what I'm talking
censorship.
about.
Preservation
they don't
versus
want to
censorship.
do it. And I don't mean to your point with the Greek, the historical, refreshings.
Well, I mean that did happen. There was a point where they fucking chiseled
chopped them
off
all
all
off.
the dicks,
Yeah,
and
and
they covered them with leaves.
it's like
So I mean, there is that risk when it comes to.
I mean, there's a certain amount of maintenance that needs to be made for these things to continue existing. Because, like, if you don't go so far back, I mean, look at like historical churches and stuff. If the ceiling starts cracking, are you just going to leave it because this, that's what the natural progression is? I think it's a case-to-case basis.
that,
I
and
think
that
when it's
and that
something
one
ancient like the pyramids and shit like that, leave it the fuck alone.
and that one's off the rails of what I was really getting at, which was the artistic movie film.
I don't think it's a good idea because then it's like,
Where do you
all
stop?
right, where does it stop when it comes to like and Star Wars?
When
has
the
been doing
creator
this, when the
dies.
person dies,
Right.
yeah.
and now they're having
We
them in
can't
movies
have,
when they're not alive.
We can't have lightsabers anymore.
They have enough footage of Harrison Ford to put him in multiple Star Wars movies, and he's not even there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I don't. I think leave it the fuck alone. Yeah, sure. If the originator, creator, but that's a very like.
Well, Dungeon said don't kill me, but I liked when George Lucas went back and redid the Star Wars trilogy.
There are certain elements
things I
that it
like.
makes sense, and there are certain elements it doesn't. Adding more
I don't
people to
mean
Tatooine makes more sense.
The Tatooine
Having-
dance scene.
taking away Harrison
having
Ford's
Greedo
blaster.
shoot first doesn't make sense.
What about just taking
Putting
away,
a rock
they're
in front of
talking about-
R2-D2 in the cave doesn't make sense because how the fuck did he get in there?
They're
Was he
talking.
Jesus? He rolls it out and fucking.
Well, he has
leaves?
the boosters, but
no.
he's an
Rustus,
astromech. But to me, it's more than that. It's not about like remastering or re-envisioning or no. I'm talking about they want to remove like any image of a gun. So they're gonna get rid of Han's fucking pistol because
Well, it's like the gun emoji too is
It's
gone.
like, come on
It's the
now,
water
like let's
gun
get
now.
fucking real here. This is bullshit.
I
Is it
get
gonna be
gun
Nerf or
violence is a
nothing now?
problem.
Too
Fuck outta
far,
here.
too many. Yeah, like we got to go back and remove every.
You watch. Then Nerf guns are going to be gone, and Super Soakers aren't going to exist anymore.
It doesn't make any sense to like because we're always gonna be finding new things that make people feel uncomfortable. Like you're like, but you can't apply the present to the past all the time.
The world is becoming the movie theater when you tried to go see Buzz Lightyear. It's like the whole theater has to suffer because one person had a sensory issue
Yeah,
when they weren't even supposed to fucking be there.
yeah, that's a good
There
point.
should be a
Yeah.
space for the people that can't handle that shit. Of course, there should be a space for everybody.
Right.
but don't fuck up everybody else's experience.
Yeah, don't
For
go
the
back.
pursuit
Let's
of your
not
own.
change Saving Private Ryan because we don't want people to be scared. And
That's
war,
erasing history.
War shouldn't
War
exist.
is ugly. You should
War
see it because guess
shouldn't
what? You
exi-
should avoid that shit at every fucking
Yeah. So
opportunity.
I hated
People
that.
forget about their history when they don't look at it, and
That's
then
how you doom to repeat it because you don't know it. They actually tried that. They tried to erase history. Actually, that's a cool story in that book I was listening to. History. They're talking about ancient China, and an emperor who basically united all of the territories in China. He burned every scrap of paper that referenced anything that ever happened before, unless it was in reference to math and science. He felt anything relating to art was just a waste of everything, so he had it all burnt. And then the
burning of the Library of Alexandria.
Right, exactly, similar to that. And it's just well, guess what now? You needed that knowledge to keep moving forward. You end up just repeating yourself over and over and over if you don't have the knowledge. So I was like, oh shit, I didn't know that ever happened. But yeah, the burning of it, Library of Alexandria, I think everybody knows. I'm way off the rails now. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think if the original creator wants to refresh, and even then you run the risk sometimes, like when what George Lucas did, it's like that weird dance scene. It's like a alien, weeb wop with the weeb wop with the weeb weeb.
Fucking Sice noodles.
Yeah.
Don't need that.
It's
All
like,
we
what
needed
the
is
fuck
the
is
fucking.
this?
All we needed
What
was the
is
cool
this?
ambient band music.
Yeah.
We did not. Didn't need the performance and the lipstick.
Yeah, it was
Who the fuck let that
Baroque.
happen? Who was like, yeah, George,
That was
that's
George.
awesome, and he
Yeah.
was just steamrolling anybody's opinion.
Because it was merchandise.
Well, Rob,
He had
what
to
did
sell
you
more
say?
Sice noodles for it.
What did you say Harrison Ford said to him? He's like, you can write this
You
shit.
can write this shit, but you can't say it.
Yeah. Wow, we're
Yeah,
running
Harrison
the
Ford.
numbers here.
He said that when they were filming the original Star Wars. I mean, it was even Alec Guinness had said in interviews that the script was janky, but he sat down with George and was like, "No, it should be like this."
That's
And
true.
You got to be open to other
Marshall
people's
Lucas
perspectives.
was fucking there to tell him, George, this doesn't fucking make sense, and he would listen to him. So.
George, this makes
And then she
absolutely
divorced
no
him, and that's
fucking
why we got
sense.
the
Dude.
prequels the way they were.
I do remember an interview, with Jesus, Princess Leia,
Carrie Fisher.
There we go. Where she said, George, who fucking talks like this? Because it was
Yeah.
Victorian style.
Yep.
It was very wordy. It's very over.
I recognized your foul stench when I was brought on board.
Right. He's like, Joe, who
Charming to the last.
the
I don't know how hot
It's a long time
fuck?
ago.
It was chippy. It was it had a sense of Shakespearean, Victorian era speech, and
I always found
George,
that
fucking
interesting
stupid.
that the bad guys all had British accents except for Obi-Wan.
They're all white British fucking guys. They were the best actors of the.
I mean, Vader
of
didn't
that
have
era.
Vader and Palpatine both didn't have a British accent.
Palpatine does.
Palpatine? He's
Palpatine's
got
British.
he's got a debonair way of speaking, but I don't think he really
But he's
sounds
a British
like
guy.
British.
He's literally British.
Well, I get that, but Palpatine does not sound British.
afraid
that if like the shield will be
right operation and your friends are right.
Yeah, that's a character, not an accent. I love the Plagueis book, man.
Don't kill me.
The Plagueis book is
Jedi are
actually
taking over.
the Plagueis book is actually
your
the Sidious
father's
book.
place
It's
in
just
my
not
sight.
named that. So when you listen to the Darth Plagueis book, it is truly Sidious's story.
Oh, it's
that's
so
what
good.
you're really getting out of that book. It's
Ain't
not.
too weak.
It's
He starts dying.
also
Don't
terrible.
let him kill me.
Terrible makeup for that one too.
Don't let
Horrible.
him
He looks
kill
like a
me.
ball sack.
Dude, look like
And then
Fucking
but no,
wrinkled
but that
nutsack.
look that he gives when he's like, I'm too weak, and then Anakin saves him, and he's all of a sudden he's like, he he glows up. He's just like fucking yes, and then all
I'm
of a
so
sudden,
glad I got to meet him.
ah!
it's crazy. It's sick. It's sick to think of how far that Sidious had set up Anakin.
Oh,
He
goes
put
so-
him in. He put him in proximity to Padme. He
Fucking
in
dictated
Plagueis.
his whole life. Man.
You know what I was
Really,
thinking
it's
about
like,
today?
oh, shit.
So if you think about it, I mean, we know Leia's Princess Leia, right? She's Leia Organa. She's technically a princess because
Bail Organa
Well,
because
'cause
Bail
she's,
Organa, but she's
adopted.
actually a princess or would even be a queen because it was Queen
but it didn't
Padme.
no, because on Naboo it didn't go by
elected?
bloodline. It
It's
was
elected.
elected.
Okay. Well, even so, if you think about it, in a way, Luke and Leia are kind of prince and princess in a sense.
Well, I mean, if they were born during the time that she was Queen Amidala, yeah, but
Yeah.
she wasn't Queen
It's
Amidala by the time
election-based.
she died. She was Senator Amidala.
Right, because before that it was Bon Tapalo.
They're the chosen ones. That's why.
Plagueis, they talk about it a little bit.
The
Vote of
prophecy
no
of
confidence.
Vote of no confidence in Chancellor Valorum. I got to bring my Chancellor Valorum toy on here. The Valorum family is mentioned in the
Valorum
Plagueis
gets
book.
so much. Yeah, you get
I have a
Valorum's in
Valorum
there.
figure.
Yeah,
But
in the
it's-
attic.
no confidence in Chancellor Valorum. You guys got to keep guessing this fucking number. I'm tired of looking for it. You got it. Come on, guys. You can do it. Free
can do it,
audio
you
book.
Can do it.
Plagueis, Thrawn, Game of Thrones, any one of those things. It's the Oprah Book
Blood,
Club.
yeah, but wait, what do we do? The Hedge Knight,
Hedge
Sonic the
Knight,
Hedgehog.
Or a Knight of the
Blood
Seven
and Fire.
Kingdoms.
Oh, Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Now, yeah, it's one book.
Fire,
Fire and Blood.
Fire and Blood.
Game
Could
of
be any of the Game of Thrones
Encyclopedia.
books.
That's the encyclopedia.
World of Ice and Fire. It could be any of the Star Wars books that we spoke about.
Plagueis,
Bane,
Thrawn.
Plagueis,
Bane,
Thrawn.
Thrawn. Those are all the good
The Head
ones.
of the Empire, Dark Force Rising, The Last Command, Spectre of the Past, Vision of the Future.
Oh yeah.
Those are the.
Like
those are
tell them the
old
order
school
while
big
while
ones.
they guess the number. Tell them the order again now.
So the original Thrawn trilogy
Let me take
starts
a
with Heir to the Empire,
Heir to the
then it's
Empire.
Dark Force Rising,
Right.
and then The Last Command. And then after that, I think it's another 5 years after The Last Command, is Spectre of the Past, and then Vision of the Future.
Yeah.
Because Princess Leia is pregnant, I think, during the entirety of the original Thrawn trilogy. But then by the time Spectre of the Past happens, she has her kids. I think it works.
Yeah, and they're
like that.
trying to kill. Oh, From the Dungeon podcast wins. The number was 89. From the Dungeon podcast
go.
gets
Year
another
after I was
audio
born.
book. That's it, guys. The number has been guessed. From the Dungeon got it. It's number 89.
Well done.
From the Dungeon gets another book. We'll do another contest next week of some sort. Maybe we'll do like the tweeting thing or whatever
We'll
you
figure
said.
it out. Tweety Bird.
Well, everybody will get a book by the end of this, all right? We got plenty of Audible credits to hand out. I don't know why I'm still paying the membership fee, but yeah.
You're funding the show now, Chris.
Yeah,
It's your
these are-
contribution.
These are, this is
Financial
our way of
contribution to
giving
the show.
back. It's our way of being like a little, Oprah book club where we can, you can talk about books. We'll give you the book. Maybe we'll get you on the show and you could talk about the book with us.
You have to do a
So,
book report if you take the book for
Yeah,
free.
you got to do a book report. You got to sign an adjustable rate mortgage. You got to run for Congress. Those are the terms and conditions. But From the Dungeon is going to get, wait, what? Hell's Broadcast said that earlier. No, he didn't. Did he? He said 88. I saw Hell say 88. There's no way
I'm going back and I'm looking.
89 was mentioned because if it's 89,
Yes,
Hells did say it. Hells!
Hells.
I'm sorry, From the Dungeon.
Hells
He's
did
got a
say it.
book that he's getting through anyway.
It was after you wrote Keep
Hells.
Guessing.
He did get it. He did get it. I'm so sorry.
He did.
Look at that. All right, Hells, you get the free audiobook, which I tried to give him a free audiobook a couple of days ago. He's like, no, give it to the Dungeon. So, all right. So, Hells, you've earned the
If
book
Hells
now.
is still here. You won the.
Hells,
won
if
the
you're
book.
still here, you get the free book.
Congratulations.
From the Dungeon got a free book already anyway, so I don't feel
Yeah,
bad.
so it's better.
He's got to finish.
Spread the love.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll make a rule where the previous week's winner can't win again.
That seems fair. I was
Like
going to
you can
say
win
that.
again, but you can't win 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, that's fair.
Something like
Yeah,
that.
I think that's fair. Because, inevitably, it's.
Hell's won the book.
It wasn't. Hells did mention the number earlier. I missed it, so. He will tell me that. He'll say, give it to Dungeon. There we go. So
Just take the
Zach
damn
said
book.
he's ready to sit in the chair again and talk about Game of Thrones because So me and Zach have been talking, and I hooked Zach up with I think two of them so far of the Game of Thrones books
Oh, nice.
because again I got these credits and like they expire if you don't use them. So I would rather people I know get these books so that we could talk about them.
All right, well, give me some books so I can start.
Well, you
listening to
you got a free book just for signing up. See, this is why Audible should fucking sponsor us. Excuse my language. The reason we're never gonna get sponsors is because we curse, but among other reasons. But
I mean, if they start paying us, we could stop.
yeah, we'll stop. Exactly. You gotta take this free advertisement and let me curse
that
during
works.
it. But the way Audible works is you sign up, you get a free book right off the bat. Just for nothing, you get a free book. Even if you cancel,
I
you
know,
keep that
I know.
book.
But that's one book. I want.
Right.
I want
Well, I don't know if
multiple
everyone listening knows. And then from there, you pay $15 a month, and you get a credit, and you can use that credit on any book. Even if the book is like an $80 book, you can buy it for $15 with this credit.
Little man.
Put that shit in my hand.
I got a $40 book. What was it, like $40 or $50, and it was like the rise and fall of the Third Reich. This book
there's
is
some interesting history shit.
Super expensive.
Plain Honest Men by Richard Beeman, which is about the making of the Constitution. I'm listening to a book about Robert Moses right now.
Oh, Moses. Dude,
Moses.
That's a fucking massive book. That book, my
It's a
father
huge
has
book.
that book. It's like 900 and something. It's this thick.
I barely scratched the surface on it so far.
He's a
but,
fucker.
well, he's a fucker, but he's like,
He did a lot of shit.
he's on the level, like they were saying, he's like, he's done more than like Egyptian pharaohs have, like in terms of being able to make constructions be made. But anyway, that's a story for another time. Hells, you get the book. He says, I don't want it. Look at that. He's like Jon Snow. I don't want it. I never have. It's an audiobook though, so you're getting it. Because I'm not giving a book away. And if you're not taking it, Hells, then nobody gets a book this week, which defeats the purpose.
See?
So you're taking the goddamn
you better
book.
take that goddamn book.
And you're going to listen to either Thrawn
You
or
son of a
Bane.
bitch.
It's a good time. You can listen to it fucking passively. That's what's great about audiobooks.
Listen to it in traffic, whatever. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, you almost got him, but he didn't do it.
Yeah, we got a tag match going on
Sin.
SmackDown right
What
now.
sin.
But okay, cool. So, Hells, you get the book. Dungeon
Thanks,
already has a book, so he doesn't need another one. Maybe Jacob will get a book soon. But what else do we have on our topic for today? So we talked about...
I mean, we kind of like left Star Wars
We
hanging.
definitely
but-
left Star Wars hanging. So, wait,
Jedi Survivor.
We got Jedi Survivor. Like I said, I just came off of replaying Fallen Order. Just hopped back into Jedi Survivor today. I had a little field trip earlier today. Went to Brooklyn with my brother and my father because there's a restaurant, a well-established restaurant, and used to be part of Greenpoint. But back in the early 80s, actually changed the borders of Greenpoint, and now it's considered Williamsburg. A restaurant called Frost Street Restaurant, or Frost Restaurant, and it's owned by one of my mother's friends growing up, Rocky, and apparently they're going to be going out of business come June, and they're a really fantastic Italian restaurant, real neighborhood restaurant, and we wanted to go there before they closed down, and holy shit, I rotted in fucking traffic coming home. Holy shit.
That's where an audiobook comes in handy, though, dude.
With no traffic, it would probably normally take maybe like 45 minutes to an hour. It took over 2 hours to get home. Over 2 hours. The LIE is the fucking worst thing. Horrible.
I honestly don't mind traffic because I always listen to an audiobook, and it makes the drive so much better.
fucking hate traffic.
I
I need to be stoned. Sorry. I'm sorry.
I crawled.
I need to be stoned.
Crawled.
We don't condone that behavior. Do as we say.
Crawled
Do as
till
we
I
do.
got to my driveway. Crawled.
The
whole
sorry.
way.
But that's what I'm saying is if you have a good book, you don't care as much because at least you're listening to something and it's like you're still engaged and you
I
get
just
to
got to
enjoy
see
it.
if it works for me because my ADHD mind, like listening
Oh, you guys
comprehension,
said
is
The
not great
reason
for me.
why it will work for you, Rob,
And if I start zoning out, then I'm gonna be like, "What the fuck?"
Here's
is this
the
guy been
reason why
talking
that
about
won't
for the last
happen.
20 minutes?
because they add all of the sound effects. They add the blaster effects, the saber effects,
Yes.
the sound of spaceships, all of the sounds they put in there. They have the music. They have John Williams in it, like, and they'll add it, like it'll start coming up, like when they're like fighting, it'll start playing like dueling music. Yeah, exactly. So
Good audio cues. They have fucking really
Would you
good
say
narrators.
that it's superior to the audiobooks of
Yes.
Yes. Game of Thrones?
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Well, hold on.
Yes.
The Game of Thrones audiobooks, Roy Dotrice is such a phenomenal voice
Yeah,
actor.
but I feel like I get bored listening to him.
They just don't have the ambient.
It's definitely
stuff.
you won't with this. It's different. I mean, for one, it's Star Wars. It's an engaging story. It's almost like you're watching it, but you're not. You're just listening. But you see it, and you're able to again multitask,
Mind's
drive, and do
eye.
other stuff and learn. And
Here's another Star Wars book that if it's on Audible, you should definitely listen to. And for whoever won, they might want to check it out too. It's called Splinter of the Mind's Eye.
You
And
mentioned
it
that
is
before.
actually the very first expanded universe book ever written. and it was written before Empire Strikes Back came out. So Luke and Leia are still kind of an item, and they're on the run from Darth Vader, and it's definitely a very interesting twist and a fantastic book.
Mm.
And I definitely suggest if you're into the EU stuff that's not canon, obviously, because they don't go into Luke and Leia being brother and sister because it didn't exist yet. And
Oh, right.
yeah. Like, literally, Empire Strikes Back didn't even come out yet, so Luke still has both his hands and all that shit. Like, it's wild to see such an early
Expanded universe.
universe book. But Splinter of the Mind's Eye, I think it's Alan Dean Foster is the name of the author that wrote that. But it's the first EU book I ever read, too, and my dad read it back in the day. My brother read it back in the day. We all love that book. It would be an interesting what-if kind of episode if they were to do something like that for Star Wars.
I wonder if they would ever walk that path. Yeah, I've thought of the what if
That would
possibilities.
be wild. Like if Anakin
Make a different.
if Obi-Wan was successful bringing Anakin back to the light side during that whole thing.
The what if situation though was
What if Qui-Gon didn't die?
it was more of a storytelling element, whereas with Star Wars they don't have that. Like the what if is the multiverse, whereas in Star Wars they're not gonna go that route, thankfully.
Yeah.
They are walking a fine line. When you watch Rebels, you're gonna see where the fuck was Ezra and what is this? Did he time travel? What happened? But
Yeah.
they're playing with some concepts there. The only reason I think Visions is a good outlet.
Well, they even played with larger scale stuff when they had like the light side and dark side fucking aliens and shit that Anakin meets and all that kind of stuff. That's
Yep.
kind of like
That's a big part
big
of it.
universe stuff because I've seen those episodes. I just didn't get the context behind them. But
They get totally
I am
lost.
actually personally watching through the Clone Wars right now.
So good.
Because I was actually inspired by the latest episode of Mandalorian.
Yes.
Because a lot of the Mandalorian stuff I just didn't know about because I didn't watch the Clone Wars when it was on.
Right.
I watched the first season when it first came out, and I felt that it was really kiddie, and it was hard for me to kind of get into it. But then a few years ago, I ended up giving the first season another shot and watching the entire thing and kind of stopping on the second season.
Yep.
And I'm picking up where I left off. I think it was like maybe 3 episodes into the second season. Now I am, I think, 3 episodes from the last episode of the second season.
Okay.
I think there's 7 seasons, so I have quite a lot of watching to do. But I have to say I've been enjoying it and having it on and
all the
checking
canon
it all out.
journeys of Anakin and Obi-Wan together.
But I'm gonna definitely put it on pause for now because Fallen,
there it
Fallen
is.
Jedi.
Jedi
Jedi
Survivor.
Survivor is out, and I can't wait to fucking sink my teeth into that game and get another fucking platinum.
Rob's just
going
gonna
to
disappear for the next week. We're not
Nobody's gonna know
see
what happened
or
to
hear
me.
from
I'm just
him.
gonna
I don't
have
even
to-
have space to download it.
150
delete
I gotta,
something.
I gotta get. Well, I either delete Warzone, which I'm
Yep.
not doing. I delete GTA, which I'm not doing. Not Red Dead. ESO, Harry Potter, which I still haven't beaten. I don't want to delete Harry Potter. W2K. I don't want to delete that. I gotta get an external drive.
I hear it's very
really
easy
or
to
an
install
internal
as
drive.
well.
I gotta get one of those.
It's very easy.
PlayStation
I
It's
Store.
literally like a
recommend.
second port for it. Like you don't even
Yeah.
have to take out the other
Well,
one.
I tried to
Yeah.
get one, and
there's
there was
no
you couldn't get it.
reformatting or anything. Like it just automatically.
Yeah, they were
formats
sold
it.
out.
They were sold out. There was like a shortage of them or whatever, so I wasn't
really?
able to get one. So
Well, are they available now?
I don't know. I gotta see.
I told him to buy the Western Digital. He wants the Samsung one, which
No, I don't give
I
a shit.
bought-
Brand.
I did buy the Samsung one. I got the 980.
How many gigs did you get?
I got the 2 terabyte.
2
I
terabytes?
wasn't fucking around. Yeah, I don't
You
want.
got to do that.
I don't want to hear about it anymore. I figured, hey,
Tired of
even
having
if-
to delete a game in order to
It's about
play
like
any other
$250,
game.
right, for that? Or
no, that was $400 fucking dollars. Yeah,
Jesus.
I didn't buy my console, so I looked
Well,
at
it's
it
probably
as,
cheaper now.
Yeah, it should be a little bit cheaper. Should be able to get it for like $350. It's pricey though. Yeah, it's like $100 per fucking 500 gigs on SSD.
Damn.
So, you're paying for it, but I don't have to think about it, and I'm confident.
I
even
just
if
been
there's a
deleting games. I don't
PS5
give a
Pro.
fuck.
I hate deleting games.
It
I
depends
hate
what
it
you
too,
play.
and I traditionally with every system I've had since the PS3, I've been updating the memory storage of the system just to not have to worry about that kind of thing. But with the prices of solid state drives and the fact that I'm not making money hand over fist, is the determining factor. If I was making pandemic money, fucking A, I just order it right now. But
Yeah, your Cameo, bud.
I am not making that much money.
Well, so
It's a lull in the year.
I did want to get back because from the dungeon asked earlier, Vin, what was the TV that you were talking about? And that is
it's an LG C2 OLED.
Right. Yeah,
I
but
have
the
the
LG
C1 myself.
I almost bought one last night because you
Thanks,
guys
Vin.
kept talking about it.
I would
but
say LG is the king of the
Stop myself.
the cream of the crop right now. Every generation, it started with this like the Sony Bravia, then it was the Samsung Smart TV, and now I would say LG is top dog.
LG's running the best panels right now, and they're Sony has the best. Now this is
They don't
directly from Phil. This is directly from Phil, from God's mouth to your ears. The Sony OLED TVs are best for theater and movie experiences, whereas the LG is best for both movies and gaming. It has the 120 hertz performance frame rate, so it is definitely the gaming TV, and now the 42-inch has become the PC gaming monitor to have. Everybody who has
Wow.
like 4K, graphics abilities is buying 42-inch fucking $1,000.
The 48-inch
LG
is cheaper than the 42-inch. I thought
That's
that
right.
was funny.
That's the one I got.
Like, all right, cool. I'll get the 48.
I got a 55-inch myself.
Oof, that's nice. Yeah, I could see why people.
And I will say the only fatal flaw to that television is the sound quality is not that great. But if you get like a sound bar or
Ooh,
something,
fuck
like
it.
I use my
it's so
headphones when I'm
dead.
playing games.
I'm not. Yeah.
Sonos. Holy
If I buy a
shit.
$1,000 TV and I'm using the internal speakers, I'm fucking up.
Sonos.
Yeah, the Sonos
I
bar
would
is
highly
nice.
suggest the Sonos sound bar. I mean, my dad splurged. She got the one that's like almost $1,000. But honestly, for the money you're paying, you don't need surround sound. You don't need satellite speakers. You don't need a subwoofer. That shit does it all. And it's just from a bar. And it even has calibration that's so fine that you have to download an app on your phone and you use the speaker on your phone to space out like the sound vibrations or whatever the thing that it puts out.
Yeah.
And you can pinpoint where you actually sit in the room so that it gives you the best sound experience.
You're seeing that a lot now. The,
Crazy.
The spatial
Technol-
awareness,
But
or
think
whatever
about
they call
that.
them.
Like, when I was a kid, we had a fucking Walkman, and it was like you were lucky if like the fucking
Discman.
thing rewound, and it's like the shit that we have now, the technology, the progression of technology in our lifetime. I think that's why so many people in our generation feel like they're old. Because you feel like you lived like a dinosaur when you were a kid, and now it's like all this shit is so fucking convenient.
Yeah,
I
the
mean, your phone
progression
can
of
take you to the
technology.
goddamn moon. I have an app on here where I can like go outside and just point the fucking thing at the sky, and it will tell me every constellation.
all the
that's
stars.
above the
Yeah,
phone.
yeah.
It blows my
Skywalk,
mind.
whatever.
You know, it's amazing the shit that we can do, and
Yeah.
it's
Only a matter of time till we destroy ourselves.
I think augmented reality is going
We're
to probably be
obsessed.
the next thing.
We're obsessed with self-destruction, so
We're gonna need like a heads-up display for like life and shit. We're gonna be hooked into the internet all the time. People are gonna start being okay with being chipped. That's what's gonna happen.
convenience is the mother of all invention.
Because then it's gonna be chips that cure cancer and fucking do this shit and that shit and regulate your blood flow, and all of a sudden we're gonna have nanobites inside of us, and it's gonna be.
When it's your health in question, I think a lot of people would do anything.
100%.
Especially when pain's involved. It's like,
Oh yeah,
whatever you
pain
got.
is a great motivator.
Whatever you got. You get what? Yeah. I don't necessarily. It's funny now. That's like the ultimate goal of the current wealthy class. Like, we're in such a polarized, whatever. We're in such an unequal time where, like, now the big billionaire research thing is living forever. Like, how can we live forever? Well, you're so fucking rich. Isn't that awesome?
Yep.
You have all the fucking money.
I want to live
And now
forever.
you want to live forever. You want to live forever?
I want to live forever.
I don't want to live forever.
I don't know about that.
You really
I
want
want to live now.
Well, now, what do you mean, like,
fucking
All right,
forever?
here we
I
go.
do.
There's
I
a
want to live
question.
forever, but I don't.
You want to be
Yes.
old forever, or get old, or progressive, or stop getting old?
No, somebody like me that wants to die is the one that gets stuck living forever. That's what happens.
I wouldn't want to be
It's the
living
irony
in
of life.
pain and aging
Right.
old forever. But if they
What
could
kind
like
of forever?
transplant my psyche and my like fucking brain into,
You don't want to be an emperor
Another
puppet on
body,
the fucking outer rim.
I would totally.
What if it was a
be
robot
off of
body?
that. I'd be okay living in a robot body. You don't have to worry about anything then. Just fucking. That's what they should do. Just strip out all the other
but
shit.
then you can't
put in a
go get a
robot.
haircut
You
anymore
can't
'cause
even
you don't
take
have hair.
mushrooms. Fucking, what are you talking about?
What?
Taking your mind and putting it into a robot.
You would not be able to
think
smoke
of a
weed.
handle
It's
that.
like,
What are you talking about? I take a mushroom.
That's true. I know.
Just don't take it as much. You guys fucking pop them like they're fucking
Bleh.
That's
portobellos.
Oh wait.
Yeah, no, I would definitely be totally fine with just give me a cyborg body as long as it kind of looks like me. Yeah, hell yeah, I'll live forever. I mean, yeah, it sucks you see everybody die, but the human brain is meant to get over shit at a certain point.
What if there's something else after this though? You're holding yourself back.
There's nothing else after this.
Okay.
I almost died. I drowned in a pool when I was in first grade. And I literally I remember drowning. I couldn't swim.
There's a
I
lot
guess
of people that would disagree with you.
I don't know. I didn't have any real near death experience. I literally just died. It was like
Okay,
going
but
to
did you
sleep.
die?
Well, the kid's dad fucking pulled me out of the pool and saved me, I guess, because I just remember waking up and he was like, "Oh, that was a close one." Probably terrified some kid almost drowned in his pool.
Oh
Sure.
my
Could you imagine?
God.
Imagine a kid
I'd
drowning
be
in your
down
fucking
playing
pool.
the shit out of that. You're good,
Yeah.
right, bud? You're good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
bud.
good. Yeah. Tell your
Want
parents.
some soda?
Yeah, you want a soda pop?
Let's go
You
get
want
some
an
ice
ice
cream.
pop?
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah,
fucking
let's go
try-
for ice cream. Oh,
Fucking heart
yeah.
is just exploding.
That's exactly. In hindsight, that's exactly how he was. But yeah, and I almost died, and it was nothing. It was like going to sleep. So I don't know, maybe, but I think your legacy is all you got, and also, your body goes into the ground, and then the worms eat you, and then the worms get eaten,
worms
and
go
you're
Just
in
like
the
Robert
worms
Moses,
go
your
out, and
legacies.
your stomach and
soar
out
with
your
the
mouth.
eagles and slither with the snakes.
Soar with the eagles and slither with the
Everything
snakes.
in
And
between,
everything
yeah.
Let me tell you something. There's only one guarantee in life, okay? And there is no guarantee.
Love it.
I think he.
Take the stand and 8 count.
Take
Fight
the stand,
again.
fight up, live to fight another day. Yeah, get some.
Well, no, you guys were riffing on some voices. You want to throw up a little?
ChatGPT.
Well, yeah. So that was the idea,
Randy?
right? We'll go to ChatGPT. What can we ask ChatGPT this week?
We need something interesting.
Last
I don't
week
need
we asked
fucking, I don't need
ChatGPT
any more awkward fucking.
Last week was funny. We asked
I
who was
missed that.
sexier, Bib Fortuna
How do you
or.
think AI will influence the future?
Let's see what we
that's
got
a
here.
generic ass fucking man. As
let's get the
improvements in fucking compute power increase.
Where are you, ChatGPT?
Trying to think of.
Would you rather have the ability to fly, but in order to stop flying, you have to crash into something?
No.
Or the ability to teleport, but every time you teleport 10 feet off the
That's a good
ground.
one for a robot, though. We gotta ask the.
fall 10 feet every fucking time?
Every time.
Fuck. I feel like the teleporting and falling would be easier to mitigate. I'd wear some kind of special thing that I could fall, or like
Lessen the blow.
trampoline shoes or stilts or
Maybe like a
remember those moon boots, moon shoes, whatever. Something like that.
parachute.
Parachute. Yeah, not
All right,
open
well-
quick enough,
Hells is not accepting the book that he won. He's saying flip a coin for Dungeon or Jacob, and Dungeon has a book already. So by all rights, I feel like we should give it to Jacob. But I do
Jacob
feel
gets the
like
book.
Before we do that, we could ask ChatGPT to write us a story about a man named Jacob versus a man named, I don't know. What can we ask this robot this week? What do we got?
I wanted to do something.
Anything in the comments? Any ideas of what we can ask the robot this week? In the meantime, yes, Jacob, congratulations. You have won the free book that was originally thought to be won from the dungeon.
Hells can no longer guess. Anytime Hells puts a number in the
Yeah,
chat,
Hells, you can't fucking
It's 2 weeks in a row.
fucking
He
guy.
won
It's
both
all right.
times, I
Write a
think.
story about Yoda interacting with
Nah,
Grogu before the fall of the Jedi Order.
Yoda interacting with Grogu.
So yeah, you remember how we asked last week about that, and it was like, oh, Yoda and Grogu couldn't have existed together. I
They
thought about
definitely did.
I thought about that a lot. I gotta be honest.
Well,
I was
no,
thinking,
they had to have
Right.
because they said.
they're at the Jedi Order.
I think according to
At the fucking Jedi Order
the
together.
lore,
Order 66
he's
happened.
born the same year that Anakin was born.
Ooh, that's interesting.
That's why he's 50.
That's fucking interesting, man. That's interesting, man.
Wait,
He
what
could be
What
like
if he's
the
born of the
duality
Force?
of
could be born of-
Anakin.
That could. Well, I don't know. I don't think
Oh
they'll
my
ever link
God.
it back to Plagueis in the way
yeah.
it's actually linked back to Plagueis. But when you listen to that book, It's gonna be. What'd you do?
I'm gonna try to get this onto the TV so that Rob could read the Yoda voice because Rob does do a good Yoda, and I think that this might be pretty funny.
He does Dagobah Yoda, and he does.
It seems like it actually wrote
Council
something fucking
Yoda.
I'm going to
legit.
take
here.
off my sunglasses for this one.
All right, I'll be the narrator, and then you could be Yoda. In a secluded corner of the Jedi Temple, Master Yoda sat alone in deep meditation. As he contemplated the mysteries of the Force, a small green figure waddled into the room.
Hello, young one. What brings you to my meditation chamber?
The small creature, known as Grogu, cooed and reached out with his tiny hand. Yoda gently took the little one's hand and led him over to a nearby cushion. As they sat down, Yoda could feel the warmth and innocence radiating from the child.
What is it you seek, young Grogu?
Yoda asked with his eyes wide, peering deeply into the creature's own. Grogu merely cooed again, seemingly content just to be in the presence of a Jedi Master. Yoda smiled and closed his eyes, reaching out with his own senses to feel the child's connection to the Force. As they sat together, in the silence of the meditation chamber, Yoda could feel a sense of peace and serenity washing over him. The small creature's innocence and trust was a reminder of what a Jedi stood for and what they had lost.
Wow.
As the minutes
This is
passed,
fucking.
Yoda could feel
This is
his
deep.
This is deep. As the minutes passed, Yoda could feel his own energy beginning to fade. He knew that his time in this realm was coming to an end, but he was grateful to have this moment with Grogu. That's you, Rob.
I got lost.
I must leave you.
Leave you now, I must, young one.
Yoda said, opening his eyes and looking into Grogu's wide, innocent gaze.
But remember, the Force will be with you, always.
With those words, Yoda stood up and slowly walked out of the chamber, feeling the weight of his age and his long, storied life. But in that moment, he felt at peace, knowing that the legacy of the Jedi would continue through the innocence and hope embodied by young Grogu.
That's probably how they would write one of those episodes too.
That's not bad.
Because
I mean,
that would be interesting. Is if they did a Tales of the Jedi episode where Yoda and Grogu like exist together in the episode.
They will forever
Ooh.
flirt with that.
That'd be a very
and-
cool way to do that.
Zach had a good one.
They'll leave
actually.
that.
Totally different question. Did Tony Soprano die?
Yes, the writer of the show answered this question point blank, and also said if you didn't understand it, I was surprised at how many people.
Do you think
didn't
that he was
understand.
taken out by the?
Taken out of context.
You think he was
It was
taken
not
out by the
taken out of
white?
context.
Taken out of context.
Literally got killed.
You heard what you wanted to
I
hear.
did not hear anything of what I wanted to hear.
Do you think he was taken out by the wife?
fucking
of the
David
guy?
Chase said what? Yeah, I can see it.
Do you think he was taken out by the
A
wife of
matter
the
of
guy that hung
interpretation.
himself?
No.
What?
You think he was taken out by the wife of the guy that hung himself?
Joined
No.
witness protection. Happily
Somebody
ever after.
threw a theory my way that you remember the girl that AJ's dating from the psych ward?
Yeah.
That she was actually planted there by New York, and she's actually the niece of like the little short guy from New York, and she's the one that tells them where Tony's gonna be for dinner because AJ gets a call from his mom, and he's like, "Houston's? Yeah, I'll fucking be at Houston's." I forgot exactly the scene, but
They never use. I feel like they never use their women and their daughters that way. You know, they never use them as pawns in the game. They keep them out of it. Think about how Tony treated Meadow.
I said it's very
That's a stretch.
hard reach.
Bran
Tony's
is
just
the
dead.
Night King. You know,
Tony's dead.
Bran is the Night King.
Tony's not dead.
Tony
Witness
died.
protection. He's selling patio furniture. Is probably
Yeah,
what
yeah.
he's doing.
He's dead.
Patio
So
furniture.
ChatGPT says the ending of The Sopranos is famously ambiguous, leaving the fate of Tony Soprano up to interpretation. In the final scene of the series, Tony is sitting in the restaurant, blah, 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 blah. So it's pretty much telling us what we already know. Many viewers interpreted this as the indication that Tony was killed either by a hitman or a sudden heart attack. Never heard that one. Others believe that the sudden cut to black was simply an artistic choice by showrunner David Chase. In interviews after the finale aired, Chase has refused to provide a definitive answer to the question of Tony's fate. He suggested that the ending was intended to be ambiguous, allowing viewers to draw their own conclusions. So ultimately, whether or not he died. So this is ChatGPT trying to be impartial, and we don't like that. We like when ChatGPT takes a stance.
Dead is fucking dead, man. I'm telling you.
No,
man.
how
It's
about
already
decide whether Tony Soprano dies at the end of Sopranos?
When I say Tony
Probably said the
Soprano,
same
it's
thing.
just
No, not asking. Tell it to make a decision.
it won't. Do you think?
I don't know.
I'm interested to see if it can make an answer if you demand it to. Like if it'll make something up. Or if it'll just be like...
As an AI language model, I do not have the authority to make definitive decisions or interpretations on a work of fiction. The ending was intentionally left ambiguous. Ultimately, yeah, so it's saying the same shit. But it was a good shot. It was a good try.
I was like, it's like inputting a command. Like
we could, have it write stories like, write a story. I got a good one.
So you know what the funny thing is with this ChatGPT shit? It's up to the year where this was announced.
Like 2021?
Right.
What was?
The David Chase interview where he fucking confirms that Tony's dead.
Oh, that's funny.
He said, the scene I had in my mind, the scene I had in my mind was not that scene, nor did I think of cutting to black. I had a scene in which Tony comes back from a meeting in New York in his car. At the beginning of every show, he came back from New York into Jersey, and that last scene could be him coming from New Jersey back into New York for a meeting at which he was going to be killed. But 2 years before the finale, he had a change of heart. While taking a drive, Chase said, I saw a little restaurant. It was kind of like a shack that served breakfast. And for some reason, I thought, Tony should get it in a place like that. Why? I don't know. So
Get what?
Get it. You ever get it?
Get it.
Watch Donnie
get
Brasco,
his
you know
moment
what
with
it
his
is.
family.
Watch Donnie Brasco, and you will know and find out what it is. It
Bada
is
bing,
this
bada boom.
in the back of the fucking head.
Oh, there we go. This is interesting. So I said to write a story about Tony Soprano meeting Grogu. Fucking baby, T.
Fucking
The
T.
fuck is
Like a
that?
cute fucking baby, T. You
Write
gotta
a
be
short
honest.
story about Tony Soprano meeting Grogu
T.
and refusing to kill him despite being ordered to.
He's a
The
descendant.
Jedi D.
He's a descendant of the most
Money in those
force,
Jedi.
the most force powerful race in the entire galaxy, T.
This is actually pretty interesting. Tony Soprano was a made man in the world of organized crime, feared and respected by many. He had made a name for himself as the head of the Soprano crime family, known for his ruthless tactics and quick temper.
see, I'm gonna
But
read that
despite
after
his
too.
reputation, Tony had a soft spot for certain things. One of those things was a small green creature named Grogu. It's true. He loved the birds.
ducks.
He loved the ducks.
The ducks.
It all started when
I know
Tony's
those
right-hand
ducks.
man, Paulie, brought Grogu into the hideout. T, look
Hey,
at
T,
this.
look at this
It's a
thing I
fucking
found.
green baby. What the
fell
fuck?
off a
Believe
truck.
it? I thought he was a dog.
The little
he started talking to
creature
me.
had been found wandering alone in the woods, and Paulie thought he might make a good pet for Tony's daughter, Meadow. Give this to fucking Meadow. She'll
This
love
thing's
it.
Good,
This is a
man.
good
This is
pet.
fucked up.
But as soon as Tony laid eyes on Grogu, he felt a connection with the creature. There was something about the way he looked up at Tony with his big, innocent eyes that tugged at the gangster's
Dude.
heartstrings.
100%.
But Tony's sentimentality was short-lived. One day, a rival gang leader demanded, this would probably be like fucking, what's his name, Phil Leotardo. You better kill that fucking baby.
Phil.
You know?
Kill that fucking thing.
Demanded that Tony kill Grogu as a sign of strength. Shine of strength.
Shine of strength.
Tony knew that disobeying the order would mean putting his own
shoulder
life
check.
and the
Shoulda
lives of his
shouldered.
loved ones at risk, but he couldn't bring
Shoulda
himself
melded
to
too
harm the
much,
little
but-
creature. As he sat in the office pondering his next move, Grogu waddled in and climbed up onto Tony's lap. The gangster stroked the creature's head, feeling a sense of peace wash over him. He knew what he had to do.
I'm sorry, Paulie. I can't do it. I won't kill this little guy.
Paulie protested. T, what the fuck? We gotta kill him.
What the fuck, D? You gotta go fucking click this thing.
Arguing that they
New York's
couldn't,
down on neck.
they couldn't voice the wrath by disobeying their orders. But Tony stood firm. We're not killing this fucking kid. Yeah. Determined to protect
Get it to
Grogu
your
at all
fucking
costs.
head. We're not killing this fucking kid.
In the end, Tony's decision to spare Grogu's life would come with consequences. He would have to deal with the wrath of his enemies and face the possibility of losing everything he had built. But for that moment, as he held the small creature in his arms, none of that mattered. He knew that he made the right choice, and he was willing to face the consequences. It's actually pretty good.
Tony turns face because of the Grogu.
You think
It's like how, he loved the
power of the
horse.
Force.
you think there's somebody out there that's getting ripped off right now? You think this thing just created it on its own?
never had the makings of a varsity Jedi.
So to finalize the Chase conversation, he
Finalize.
what? I had no idea it would cause that much of an uproar. The series creator said of the cut to black ending. What was annoying was how many people wanted to see Tony killed. They wanted to see him go face down in Linguini, you know? That bothered me. Chase may have killed him off the show, but he still doesn't want people to want the mob boss dead. Yeah, dude.
What does that mean? He just said people wanted to see it. That doesn't prove anything.
No. People wanted to see the
Tony
killing.
get killed.
Yeah.
The cut to black was...
That doesn't. One thing doesn't infer the other.
You're a fucking idiot.
No,
I don't know.
that's
Do you
a
listen to
that's
people's
not a-
words when they speak?
He said
or do you
people
just
wanted
hear
to
what
see
you
it.
want
That
to
does
fucking
not
hear?
mean that therefore Tony's
Read
dead.
the fucking thing.
You just read it.
Tony's dead.
Tony's not dead. He's in
very
witness
dead. This
protection,
guy's
selling
fucking
patio
crazy. This guy's
furniture
like
in
fucking
fucking Wyoming.
sociopathic fucking crazy.
He's so
man.
dead that James
I could-
Gandolfini's
There's
dead
a
too.
lot of hints that show that
He's talking about you when he says that. You want
I
to
don't wanna
see
see him.
him dead to confirm that he's dead.
No.
Yes.
Exactly. Non sequitur.
Oh,
One does
bullshit.
not infer the other.
Fucking
Begs
guys,
the question.
unfortunately, yeah, the
Fallacy.
best character in TV history was murdered because that's what happens to those guys. One way or the other, prison or dead.
Witness protection.
No, they fucking never last in witness protection. They always
Look at
end
Henry
up,
Hill from
He ended up
Goodfellas.
back
Now he's
in
eating
jail.
fucking
No,
noodles with
he ended up
ketchup.
back in jail twice. You fuck. He was dealing drugs. He broke his agreement multiple times.
The only
They
gangster.
they never get out of the life.
The only
It is
gangster
them.
that fucking
They
like
are
actually
that.
died of old age that I could think of is my grandfather's cousin, Sonny
what?
Francis.
I think
fucking- he
I think we have
was
to
most
shelve
of his
this. I
life.
think we have to
He
shelve
fucking
this
got
because
out
this
right
is,
at the end, and he fucking
They
retired.
don't have to
in
shelve
Greenpoint.
anything. It's put
we
to
gotta-
bed.
No, I
want to
talk more about this because there's a lot of things I think that hint towards my theory.
There's nothing
But
that hints towards
there's
it. If
plenty
the
that hints
showrunner
towards it.
just said it.
He didn't say it.
He did say
He said
it.
it bothered me how many
No.
people wanted to see it.
No, it bothers
There was
him
another quote
that
by
they
him that
wanted
seems
to
more to support your case, where he was
see
talking about
it.
him getting in a tunnel or something like that first.
I
That was
just read it. I said
We're
he
gonna
was
have David
talking
Chase
about
on the
coming.
show to talk
the
about whether he
original
should-
thought to kill Tony was, I'm going to have him come into New York and get killed. I'm going to have a scene where it's the inverse of the show intro. So instead of him traveling from New York to Jersey, he's going to be traveling from Jersey to New York, and he's going to get it in New York. That's what get it. Watch Donnie Brasco.
They had so many opportunities for him to get it.
Oh,
and he
my
survived
Lord.
everyone.
No, and then he just said, I was on a fucking Sunday drive, saw this restaurant, and said, that's where Tony would get it. And he changed the whole ending to fit that exact thing. Oh, my God, anyway. Can't even, my blood pressure
don't buy it.
doesn't buy the showrunner.
It was,
The guy
it
who
was
wrote
left
the
that way
words
for a
on
reason,
the
and there's
page.
plenty of records of him saying, I
There
left it
is-
open-ended for
it's
you to
not.
draw your own
No,
conclusion.
It is not. And
That's
he
literally
said,
been
I
every...
didn't
ChatGPT said it. He left it
ChatGPT is
open-ended.
wrong because it doesn't view this.
It doesn't
this new
reference that
shit.
one
It doesn't-
article that you're fucking cherry-picking.
It's not a cherry picked. It's NBC's article interview with him.
That doesn't
fucking
mean
dick.
anything. That's one article out of fucking 30
No, that
where he
is
says,
the most recent.
I left it
Now,
open-ended.
There's the most recent article in which he
Yeah,
fucking
we'll have to
says
come
it,
back
you
to
New
nuts.
things have developed.
Anything else we could ask ChatGPT before
Nuts.
we wrap this up? What do you think? Save some more for next week?
The
Yeah.
Check the
self-delusion.
comments
It's
before
insane.
we check this out.
I wish Joe was here, just so he could fucking yell at you.
Without Joe in the house, Vinny is going to get Sweet now. Yeah, see that? Yeah, he's
I'm
sold
not
his
going
place.
for
New
Sweet.
shit has come
Sweet's
to light.
bringing it out because he's a fucking moron. He doesn't listen to fucking actual factual evidence. He chooses what he wants to believe. It's a wonderful life to live.
They left it
It's a
open-ended
beautiful
for that
reality
reason.
where you're always right.
Listen, all right, then if we're
He's
going to keep
dead.
fucking
It
going, then
sucks.
I'm
He's
going to make
dead.
my
Tony's
case because
dead.
I'm literally stopping myself from making my case.
There
If we
is
want to
no
talk about
case
this
to
for
make.
the next 30, 45
No
minutes.
That has
no-
not occurred
How
to
many
me.
times
There's
Tony
no
could have been
case
fucking
to
killed
make.
and they didn't kill him?
No.
Every fucking time he survived it. Everybody
The end of
around,
season
listen,
6.
everybody
That's why
around
there's
him
season
died.
6.
He
The
had
last episode they killed him.
There is no reason that Tony would want to stay in the mob life. Everyone around him is dead, except for Paulie, who he
no
fucking
understanding.
hates.
You've never seen
Every
Donnie
single guy
Brasco.
around him. Sill's in
You
a
know
coma.
nothing about the mob.
Fucking,
You know nothing about the mafia.
I know not.
Watch
That,
Donnie
see
Brasco.
that is a bad
Watch-
argument.
watch
You know
Donnie
that's
Brasco.
you know that's a
Watch
poor
Donnie
argument,
Brasco.
Vin.
Terrible.
I'm
Watch
making
Donnie
a case,
Brasco.
and you're making ad hominem attacks.
I'm making attacks.
You're
ad
doing
hominem. Your
logical
inability-
fallacies. You're not even letting me make my point.
I'm not going to let you because
The
it's
fucking
right
showrunner
fucking
said
here.
he fucking
Yeah.
died.
No, he
He's
didn't.
dead.
He left
He
it
literally said
open-ended. It was a
Hold
black
on.
ending.
Hold on,
Everybody
ready?
hated it.
Hold on, ready? The quote. It's him saying these words from his mouth. What was annoying was how many people wanted to see Tony killed. They wanted to see him go face down in linguini, you know? That bothered me. He did not want to show Tony getting killed. It was inferred by the ending. He's the main character of the show.
You just jump from fucking this all the way to there.
That's what happened to him.
It doesn't fade to black. It is sudden fucking black. It is a sudden ending to the music. It is a sudden ending to the entire episode.
I can't even make my case because I start fucking talking and then you just start saying, I don't know anything about the mob, which is
not a matter of opinion.
Think about it this way.
This is not a matter of opinion.
If he went into the witness protection,
I'm not going to listen to you guys.
Listen,
If you won't give me the goddamn dignity to let me make my case, I'm not going to listen to you cocksuckers.
Quiet the whole fucking time.
No, you haven't. You've been over there chipping and supporting him over there.
If he went to the witness protection program, why the fuck would it have to cut to black?
Because that's how it ends.
Oh, right.
Ends right there.
Nothing
that's
like
the
being
moment
wrong
that
and
it makes
not
no
being...
fucking
That's
sense.
the moment that Tony Soprano dies and Kevin
no
Finnerty becomes.
Oh, yeah. Tony's in a fucking
If you won't let me
restaurant,
make my
and
points, then there's no point in having this conversation.
There is no point in this.
There are
This
plenty of
conversation-
hints
this
of him
conversation
working
ended
with detectives.
on November.
What's the name of the detective that he's
November
working
3rd,
with?
2021. This
Detective.
conversation fucking ended.
He does not say he dies there.
Yes, he does.
There's nothing there that says
yes,
he's
he
dead.
does. Yes, he
There's
does.
nothing there.
Yes, he
He's
does.
as dead as the fucking
Again,
Gabagool.
Yes, he does.
If I am not free to make my points, then this is not a spirited debate. This is
But why would it cut
fucking.
to
It is
black
not
in
a
a
debate.
restaurant if he
It
didn't
is
get
the
killed?
not a debate, but
it
it
is
could
the
be.
motherfucking
That is
show
not. That does
creator.
not say anywhere that he's dead.
You
and
are
there's so many points
derided
on the
in
record where he
self-delusion.
says that nothing happened. That he left it open ended for people.
Are you actually gonna read this, or are you just
You
gonna
haven't
keep
let me
telling
make any of my points,
You have
and
no
you read
point.
it 3 times
You
already.
have no point.
There's nothing. You go from him saying it bothered me that people wanted to see it
No.
happen.
Nope.
To that means it happened. That doesn't mean it happened.
You see it happen, you dumb fuck.
See it happen.
See it. Like you want to see it to confirm to your mind that he's dead, correct? You needed to see him dead, shot dead. You needed to see Carmella's reaction. You needed to see AJ. You needed to see everyone lose
No,
it.
because you could have done more
Screaming.
to stop it short. That would have made people believe that.
That's the
You could have
craziest shit I've
done
ever
much
fucking
more
heard.
to-
The self-delusion. Oh,
It's
you
not
could have made the
something-
show
again,
better?
Can I make my points?
No. You
Well,
could have
then
made
if
the show
I
better.
can't make my points and you're
You
going to
coulda
do ad hominem attacks against
You
me,
coulda made the show
that is
better.
against the point of this fucking podcast.
Yeah, well, listen, when you're wrong, you're wrong.
Well,
The
you know what?
evidence
You're wrong
is-
because you will not even let me speak my voice.
No.
Which means that you're censoring me.
I am censoring.
You're censoring
I'm
me.
censoring the
Censored.
stupidity.
If we wanna leave
At
it
a
there-
certain point,
What's the name of the detective guy? What's his name again? The dude that
jumps off the fucking bridge.
no, not that guy. That guy was, I think, Vin.
It was
something.
Vinny.
No, the detective that he's
When
been.
they used to give sandwiches
The
to
FBI?
his
There's the
FBI
FBI
agent?
guy, Agent Harris.
Right.
They
They meet in the snow in the
established
car.
that there is a connection between the two of them.
Nope. Nope.
No, how?
Because in that car conversation, Tony is literally walking the razor's edge of, I need your fucking help, but
The
I don't
walls
want to
are
fucking
closing
ask
in.
you for it. And we do not have a relationship, and
They do have a relationship.
I can't ask you for the thing that
Agent
I want.
Harris
and
cheers.
Agent Harris calls him and goes, "Yeah, the guy you're looking for is like over there."
Why do
And
you
then
do that?
hangs up after he fucks.
Why do you do that?
It has nothing to do with the witness
They
protection
have
program.
a relationship.
It's the opposite. He helps, the FBI helps Tony kill fucking Leotardo. That is not the
What
witness
does he get out of
protection
that?
program, you dumb fuck.
They
Oh, my God.
so the
I hate my
FBI
life.
helps him, but they stop short of putting him into witness
Thank
protection.
you,
They help him
Jacob.
kill
Chris
his
won't let it
enemy.
go. Chris can continue
No,
to speak,
see-
so he could be wrong. It's fine.
Listen, Agent Harris and Tony start working together. It starts when Tony feeds him the Arab guy that he thinks is a terrorist. It's after 9/11. There's the
with
terrorist
the shipping
shit.
containers.
With
right?
the shipping containers.
That is not
Tony-
Tony signing the
That is
1040.
the start.
No,
that is
that is-
one point
No,
that I'm making.
not at all.
It continues. What was it? When Phil dies, when Tony lives, Agent Harris cheers. They cheer that Tony made it, that Tony won.
Agent Harris has a particular affinity
Yes.
for him and the crew.
He starts.
He
It
is
starts
not
with him
in the
going to
witness
Statue
protection
Alleys, and at first
program.
they're like, "Get the fuck out of
And
here!"
he's-
And by the end of the season,
And not
they're
only
coming
that,
in and talking
not
to
only
him.
that, you know, Agent Harris doesn't even work in the fucking mob unit anymore. He works for the terrorist unit. How is he
Fair
cutting
enough.
fucking deals with fucking
Because
Tony?
he has a special relationship with Tony.
Yeah.
Why did he
all
tip
happens
Tony off?
off camera. It all never. No one ever gets informed
There
about
is.
it.
Listen,
It's
let me
inferred
speak to
through
Tony's motives.
Chris's fucking.
Everybody around Tony is dead. Bobby Bacala, Scylla's in a coma. His son tries to kill himself. His wife wants to divorce him. Uncle
His son's
Junior, he goes and
son's working on the movies, but
he
you're
visits
wrong.
Uncle
But
Junior,
you're wrong.
and he says, "You and my
You're
dad used to
making it-
run this town."
But
And
you're
Uncle
wrong.
Junior's got a fucking scrambled brain. He says, "Oh, that's nice," and he realizes in that moment, what the fuck is the point of any of this?
That's
walls
your
are closed.
point.
Tony
Maybe
is
what
the
you
most
discovered-
selfish motherfucker, and you guys act like, "Oh, Tony would never turn state." Why not? What does he have to give? What does he have to lose?
To ask why not is not providing definitive
Everybody
evidence
around him
to
is dead.
support. Every point you're making
coming to an
is
end.
moot because you're wrong about most of the information. AJ did try to commit suicide, but at the time, he's working in Hollywood. He's having a great time. He's driving his BMW. He's got his hot girlfriend. He's doing great. Fucking Meadows
AJ at
killing.
the end?
Yes.
I don't remember him doing
Rewatch the
great.
fucking show
I don't remember
before
him
you're
doing
gonna yell
great.
at me
No,
about
no,
The
no.
Sopranos.
That's nonsense.
I've watched The Sopranos.
He tried to kill himself
every
in the last
fucking year.
season.
Every year for the last 20 fucking years, you
Bullshit.
idiot. I've watched it more than you watched or read Game of Thrones. Sopranos has
That
been
may be true.
my fucking series my entire life.
That
You
does not
make
do anything to
pointless
dispute
fucking
any of my points.
to try to you try to use old information to inform something
Evidence.
that's wrong.
No.
Absolutely dead wrong.
Wrong.
And it's hilarious that I even have to take it there. You are
They
wrong.
ended it the way that they ended it for a reason,
Tony
and
died.
I think that is the better ending. He's already had. Tony is a very selfish
You
guy.
realize that
Of
whether
course,
or not he
duh.
dies in that scene, he was going to die eventually because the walls were closing in on him.
Everyone's
with
gonna
every
die fucking eventually, but
I think he dies in that restaurant. That's my 2 cents.
that's fair. And here's my thing. And this is where I'm gonna say, go fuck yourselves.
All right.
Because you should be allowed to have a fucking opinion that's different. All right. I don't think that there's this universal. This is the truth. I'm
People
not
are
even
allowed to be
saying.
wrong all the
I'm not
time.
even
Look at
saying he
Weatherman.
didn't die. He could have died. I'm
like
also
telling
saying
me-
he could have lived.
Well, Ned Stark
That's
could've
my
lived, too.
mindset. Is
I think
there's
Ned Stark could be
there's
alive.
more than one
I
possibility
think
here.
based
I
on
am
the
not certain that he
mythology,
died.
I think based on the mythology of Game of Thrones, Ned Stark could technically still be alive. I don't think he was actually
Yeah,
killed.
but we saw him get his head cut off.
Right.
We
Right.
saw
You
everybody
saw
else
it,
die.
right?
We
You
saw everyone
it.
die in The
You
Sopranos,
saw it.
but
You needed
Tony
to see
apparently.
it. It confirmed it. If you didn't see it, you would have
We
speculation.
saw everyone else around him
Right,
die,
right.
but we didn't see Tony. They left that one special.
Tony is dead. Unfortunately,
Again, that's
it's not a,
and here's
it's
the
not
thing.
up to
That's what we
interpretation.
want him to be
That's
dead. I love
possible.
Tony
and
Soprano,
I would
but
have
it's-
accepted the interpretation argument. I accepted
That's
it for
possible.
years.
That's
I
maybe
accepted
even
it.
probable,
I
but it
accepted
does
it.
not mean that is the only
I
possibility.
literally had that argument the night it happened, Chris.
Everybody did.
I watched it live, like sitting at my,
So did I.
and it ended, and
Yeah, I
everybody
watched
in
it
the
live.
room was like, "Huh."
We thought the
And I
cable
went,
went
"Oh
out.
shit, they fucking killed him." And then some people went, "They what?" And I said, "They fucking
I
killed
thought
him."
the TV stopped working.
And
My
a lot of
father
people
and I
thought
were
the
like,
TV
Yeah,
went
and everybody
out
hated it.
because it literally was like no sound,
but then
no
your
visual.
volume up, volume down thing came up, and I was like,
No,
this
did
is the
not
fucking
freeze.
show?
That was the show, and that's how it ends.
Oh, we were aggravated.
Ugh. So yeah, some people needed to see it happen so they could
And if
feel
they,
like
and if
it
they
ended.
didn't want to show it, maybe a less ambiguous way to do it would be to when it goes black, it's just a gunshot sound and it goes black.
This will
And that's it.
outlive.
They could have done so much more to prove that.
This will outlive David Chase, though. That's
But
why
that's why he did it,
That's
because
called
people are
artistic.
still talking about it
yes,
20
that's
years
the
later.
artistic expression of it.
If there was a
That's
definitive
why
ending,
he danced around
we wouldn't
it
be
for
talking about
years.
this.
He didn't want to put a definitive. He just let the audience
Exactly.
play with it.
But when you say he died,
But
and that's it,
But it became
that ruins that.
But it became that when he had to answer it because it became so overblown and so ridiculous. He was just like, no, so I just want everyone to know this is what happened. This is how I thought of it. This is originally how it was going to go. This is what I changed it to. And it was disappointing that people didn't feel that that was enough to confirm.
years,
Do you
he was
think if
pulling
somebody
like a
asked
Carly
him again
Simon.
today, did he die?
Yes.
He's gonna say yes, he
Yes.
died. No, he's not. He's
Yes,
still
he's
gonna say the same
straight
shit.
up answered
He's
the
still
question.
gonna fucking tickle around it.
Straight up answered
He
the
answered-
question.
How many times has he asked that question? You just said thousands of times, right? That's one of fucking thousands of things. Did he die?
Well-
Here's what he said this time.
No, he wasn't.
And if you ask him again, he'll probably say something different.
no,
20
because
no's and a
he-
yes is still a yes.
No, because when he was answering those original ones, it was roundabout when it came out. Since then, he hasn't really come out with a lot of shows. He hasn't really been out in the public. He just kind of faded away, did his thing. He really wasn't doing heavy amounts of interviews. And anytime it would come up, it would just be like, kind of like, all right. But then when he sat down recently, because the fucking movie was coming out, that's why he resurfaced. The whole point in David Chase coming back, to HBO and everything was the fucking Sons of Jersey or whatever the fuck it was. And
Many
that's how
States
this
of
came
Newark.
about. That's how this whole fucking thing came about and was like re-brought up in 2021 compared to 2005 or 6? I think it came out in like those.
Something like that.
So, this is almost 20 years later. So yeah, he put it to bed to kind of put it to bed to say like, all right,
Nothing's. The kids are still up.
you can choose your
The
own
kids are still
reality
up.
all you want.
I choose
That's
to interpret
nuts.
the finale my
That's
own
wrong.
way.
And to not accept new information as well.
That's
Should we just
that's not.
Should we just fade the show to black?
Yeah,
No,
let's
just cut
fucking
it. Just-
fade the show.
we did it already. I already
Just
did that.
for time, girl.
I did that for the last one too. Well,
Yeah,
no, I
you
did that
know
for
what?
WrestleMania. Just end it.
You know, I
We
bet,
didn't even recap WrestleMania.
I bet you don't even hear it when it's coming.